pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, start the meeting here for January 27th. So we have all three commissioners and Miranda and Jack Foster is in the audience. I'll entertain a motion for board minutes from January 20th, 2026.
I make a motion, we accept the board minutes from January 20th, 2026.
I'll second it. Public comment? All in favor? Aye.
I,
Motion carried and passed.
you gave him like 5 seconds.
No, raise your hand.
Okay, I'll shut up.
I kept looking like.
Guy does, and then he gets reading, but then
Right, and you forget about it, yeah. Alright, we'll move on to correspondence here. First one here is from Seth Barty from Slate. It is detail for the heat tape and stuff for the drains. Just saying apologies for the delay, but for the cost estimate and everything like that, but this is just the detail, no cost estimate.
they'll probably bring that in when we,
Yeah.
oh, I don't think we need to put just that on their agenda, because it bring that big.
Right, okay. Yeah, you didn't have any numbers in there, just,
I just curious of some of that.
yeah.
Next one here is from Kelly Cotton, with Senator Sheehy's office. She's just letting us know that she will be back in Phillipsburg here soon to catch up with us. She was asking we had any thoughts on the proposed project in Phillipsburg as a testing site for new and improved ways of mining and processing critical minerals.
I don't know.
I don't know anything about that.
Critical what?
Critical minerals.
We haven't had nothing brought to us by DEQ, right?
I
Haven't come through.
Heard anything about that? I'll read it first or?
Stamp it first.
It's usually on stuff like that, DEQ gives us stuff that, you know, or what's going on, and then they have an open house or something on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't
nothing's-
seen anything like
I
that.
was coming across for a proposed project here for mining.
I don't even know who started the new mine besides McDonald, but that was just a gravel pit.
I think aren't they running, they're gonna run some ore through the stamp mill, I heard, aren't
Yeah,
they? Or the, at Ollie's.
Always maybe, huh? Mhm. Yeah, usually
I
they
think
get
it's silver.
from DQ.
I think they're gonna run silver, I think, since silver's so high now.
I know nothing about this.
Maybe send her an email back saying that we didn't.
So there's
About it.
proposed,
Yeah, see what she's.
And maybe if she could send us a proposal. with
Yeah.
Whoever's putting it out, because we haven't.
Uh-huh.
Or at least I haven't. Yeah, I just email it back, say, we don't, not quite sure what this is all about.
Yeah, can you see if she'll elaborate?
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
if this needs to be on the agenda, if there is a proposed project, which, hey, it might help Granite County if they can get back into maybe doing a little mining
Do we still have that?
for revenue.
Do we still have that hard rock mining going? That's what I thought.
This next one's from, David Lee from the Granite County Airport Advisory Board. It's letting us know that, thanking Miranda for helping them with the Zoom meeting. And that the meeting was recorded and into the cloud. But he's not sure how to recover that, so. Oh, and Miranda already got it for him, so it was just. And it says, he will continue to serve as the interim vice chair and will need direction on what further duties this entails. So. I address that when we meet with the board.
Yeah, it's on the agenda later. Yeah. They need to have more meetings. More board members.
So he's never said anything about resigning. Lee, David Lee,
He has in the spring.
This spring.
He'll stay, but
when did he say that?
Blaine knew about it before I did.
But he hasn't notified us, has he?
No.
No, not in writing or anything, but it is on the notice that there will be another spot in the spring. Because of him. And there's 2 spots now.
The next letter here is from Kathy Gillis. It's a resignation letter from the Phillipsburg Library Board, effective this date. Says after giving it careful consideration, I conclude that my passion for the library can be better met by volunteer with the Friends of the Library. I have started back to work part-time and it's taken up more time than I anticipated. So, another.
Yep.
See on the board.
So does this have to be on the agenda for a resignation to be noted? Or is this, because we did that with the airport board
Yeah,
with
we can
Donovan,
Yeah,
put it on.
put it on and a letter
to accept it and
Yeah,
another
a
letter.
letter, yeah.
to put an ad out in the waiting.
Yeah, I will notice.
This next one is an email from, Jeff. I'm gonna butcher the name, but Bowhaber. It's over a surprise bill from the Granite County Waste Department. From October 24th, 2025. Claiming that, he threw away some bags of leaves that he piled up. No warning of the change in policy was given to my landscaper delivering the 39-gallon garden bags to the scale that day. They was never given notice of this change by Granite Disposal or the county, and now I'm stuck with a $5.40 bill due on his one-time pay-as-you-go policy. So,
We've talked, you know, it's been on the agenda, we've talked about it, remember we, about the grass done, not like we haven't.
Yeah.
Okay, so he is not understanding overages. And he wasn't made aware of it,
That's kind of.
so do we need to,
Then he said they're city trees, there are trees.
Not
So
if
we're
we're
not the
city,
city.
we don't have no trees.
Said he lives in a boulevard, he talked to me, Scott, Todd. Me again, now you guys.
so what is he saying the rule change is?
That it was on the website.
Was on the website?
It's on the website and that's not a way to let the people know.
First
Well, we
time in
never
25
changed nothing,
years.
we've been just talking about the grass that was coming in and we've got that, you know, just set it to the side there.
Yeah,
Other burden and shove it in or burn or roll it around, it's just, we can't have people throwing it over the banks.
no, and he said his contract, he told me his contractor took it for him.
See what?
His contractor took the leaves to the dump, so,
Well, that's between him and
Yeah.
Robinson.
Sure, what?
If Robinson's picking his stuff up and then Robinson's charging him for overages, that's, he's gotta go through them.
Yeah,
That's nothing to do with us.
not us.
So did Granite Disposal then send this $5.40 bill to him?
No, we,
Is that what he's saying?
the dump did,
They dumped it.
cause the leaves got taken to the dump.
Cause he's part of. Grant disposal, so if he takes anything to the dump, he's gotta pay for it.
Cause
His
he gave up
contractors.
his $137.
Allowance, yeah.
A lot of people find that out, they give up that
I don't know.
2,000 pounds, and then when they go up there, yeah, they gotta
Yeah,
pay.
there
They
you go.
gave it. And Robinson's already got that, it worked into this whole system.
Yep.
Okay, so. I'm not really understanding this, and he's saying sometimes free depending on the attendant. For the, garbage bags of grass and leaves.
He might have went in there when somebody else was there and they were busy or something, said just throw it over in the burn pile, which is free. That's,
I don't understand this at all. What I'm saying is, Granite Disposal sent him a bill for $5.40.
no,
No.
no, we did,
We did,
for overages.
for overages.
And that's what we have him doing, cause if Robinson took his, you know,
Hi there,
Clarification,
okay,
so he has granite disposal,
yeah,
his gardener took trash to the dump. So if you have granite disposal, you have to pay as you go. So I triggered a pay as you go, I got the weight, I billed him.
yes, that's what we asked you
Yeah.
to do, yeah,
Yeah.
you're fine.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure
Could you
you.
state your name real quick?
My name is Scott Reddick. I am the solid waste clerk.
and now,
That's what that's what I just said too, that if Robin Adler, he goes in, and that's his, yeah, cause he gave up his right for 2,000 pounds as well.
Right. So,
well, okay, and that's what I'm saying is that. Is there like a form letter to send him saying we're following policy and this is the way it's been? And it's nothing, it's been policy for, you know what I
Yes.
mean?
I don't know if you've written that policy out, but I've been instructed to enforce that, bill.
Written what policy out?
That if you have granite disposal, that if you go to the dump, you forfeit your,
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And
That
then-
hasn't been written out.
okay, so that,
Is that something that you sent him and told him this is why?
no, Robinson from Granite Disposal sent out a form letter, it was supposed to, letting the customers know that if you use our service and then go to the dump, you'll be charged, the $6.75 a pound. And I believe that he did send those out, I've never seen it.
He's just saying that he never got enough from Granite Disposal, so that was on.
Well, that's not our problem.
No.
What our problem is though, is he doesn't understand that it's not made up policy. And that he should be told either by the solid waste clerk or maybe by us that policy is.
Well, when you give up your 2,000 pounds, then you go in.
Well, I mean, that he needs to understand that, is what I'm saying. Do we need to send him a letter stating that? So pay your $5.40.
We'll have $20 in the paperwork.
Well, just time alone with our county employees, he's, had, easily a couple hours of, back and forth and discussions and explaining it. And he's explained it to Miranda, me, and Todd, so it's exceeded the $5.40 in time. So anyway, yeah, so the policy, I'll look at our, solid waste,
Well, it's pretty simple, that if he gave up his 2,000 pounds to Granite Disposal, anything after that, he pays as he goes. That's just the way it is, cause that's his right to give it to Granite Disposal.
And I know,
So
like,
when you walk in there, then you gotta pay it. You can't try to go back and
Okay.
use your
and
2,000
I
pounds.
know like when you do, like Scott was saying, like from Granite Disposal, you do get a flyer. When you sign off on it saying that you are signing over your 2,000 pounds. And
Yeah,
if you take anything to the dump, it's pay as you go. I know there is a paper.
he gives that to every.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He's addressing us. We need to tell them that in response.
Oh,
I'll look for that, granite disposal form letter and see if we can have that on file for future, cause I think it's gonna show up again.
Yeah.
But I think his concern is that, it's leaves and he's always put it to the burn pile, it shouldn't be charged. I think that's the nuance here. And it, grass and leaves should go to the dumpster because of the combustion, you know,
Okay, Yeah.
that's,
this is something that's been going on for years. For years, they decided they would not put grass or leaves on the burn pile because it smoked too much. So it went in the dumpster. I remember having to do that. And that's where the problem was, where people were dumping their grass on the side of the hill and not taking it because it had to go in the dumpster. So this is what he doesn't understand, that it has to go in the dumpster. And now we have this conflicting thing, well, like with you, Scott, saying, well, I don't think they should have put leaves in the garbage. They should be able to put them on the burn pile.
why wouldn't we? Cause if we're gonna start doing that, the way you start.
But we
adding up the-
have been,
I know.
that's what I'm saying, we have been
That's a
doing that.
big deal.
They have been forcing them in to the dumpster and not on the burn pile.
yes, it's, I've been working 2019 or 18. When I worked part-time, all grass and leaves would go to the dumpster.
Yeah.
And sticks and clean wood would go to
Yeah.
the burn pile. That was,
Yeah, yeah,
it's been a policy
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
So I know.
so that's the policy that he needs to understand. Unless you change the policy and say you can put leaves and grass on the burn pile.
I just sent him a letter. This next one,
Good.
thanks, Scott. It's from, Delana Baumberger, it is, a letter just saying that she is supporting our decision that we made as commissioners over the, airport. And that she was against the letter we had from last week, from Brad Schulster. Morning, Blaine.
Morning.
So may I make a comment to get back to the last thing with the solid waste? Do we need to put that on the agenda? We're having dispute against whether grass and leaves go into the dumpster or the burn pile. And like Scott said, that since he's been there since 19, leaves and stuff go in the dumpster, which I remember for years, the leaves and stuff are going into the dumpster. So this letter came from this gentleman saying he thought that he could put them in the burn pile and he's disputing the overage.
Yeah, probably agenda item. I see that was $5, but it doesn't mean needs, resolved.
All right,
Got it.
It's a mess. And I understand where you're coming from, Scott.
Oh, I'm not arguing it. I guess.
Cause I don't think it's right either. But leaves and grass, mold and stuff.
Well, the worst
And we
thing
did
is
just
stuff I have
decide.
to support for us, you start putting on my different, then, we didn't want to cut and bag go, we don't.
is there any public comment on correspondence? Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you. Good morning. For the record, Elena Gagliano. As far as the correspondence is concerned, I make copies of the letters, and I agree with Blanche regarding that letter regarding the dump. The letter was addressed to Miranda and the county commissioners. There's apparently a misunderstanding regarding the policy. Where's the policy? What I think, this is quoting you, oh, I think we already discussed this, yada, yada. Well, that still doesn't clarify this man's correspondence. And I agree with Blanche, it should be put on an agenda and discussed further, come up with the policy, find if the public was notified, because it is a policy. Where is the policy? So that's one. Again, Delana Baumberger, very nice letter. Totally calling out the letter from Brad Schuster. And I believe you had that letter. Did you? I don't know if you responded or not to it, but these letters would and should get a reply. Thank you. So this way they know that you've seen the letter and you responded to it and whatever. Going back to Riddick Field, the one from David Lee, I thought that was kind of interesting because the letter is dated January 22nd at 10:16, and that was a Thursday. And I attended that meeting, airport meeting, on the 21st at 7 o'clock. And it kind of seems funny how you don't even go by your own rules, because on the agenda it says something to the effect that anything received after Wednesday, 3 o'clock or something, isn't going to be on the agenda. Well, how did that get on the agenda when the meeting was just had that night, the 21st?
It's
So look at your agenda, because it says something to the agenda. And so I don't know, that's just my comments. And again, Blanche, I think you're doing it right by questioning these. It almost seems, especially listening, that the letters weren't pre-read. You have copies of it. You should know what the letters say and what they, that's all I'm going to say. I brought this up before, and I think these things should be addressed. Thank you.
Thanks, Lana.
One comment there, the response to the Mr. Schuster is on for 10:10 AM. And yes, I'm not sure what she's talking about, the letter from Dave Lee. Yeah.
It was in correspondence.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't an agenda item.
No, agenda item.
Okay,
And yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's no,
Yeah.
was no agenda item.
okay.
Alright, we're running a little bit behind, but we'll, now open up for public comment on matters within the commissioner jurisdiction. Any public comment? Alright, with that, we'll move into the weekly report with Road and Bridge Superintendent Paul.
Morning. So we're just, doing maintenance on graders right now. And everything's so froze we can't blade. And our plan is after we get a couple more days of 45, 50 degree weather, then we're gonna start hauling some more gravel, fixing some more of the roads. Right now, we've got a lot of them are just clear ice. So we're doing quite a bit of sanding, but that's about the size of it. We did, last week, we were able to do some gravel work, but gonna hold off on it this week, just to get it so froze. And over the weekend, it's supposed to be 50,
Right.
so if we wanna be able to cut some, makes it in, rather than just build potholes, otherwise it'll beat it right out, but
Where are we at for totals on gravel so far?
we're up to a couple thousand yards.
Couple thousand, Paul?
Yeah. And hopefully we'll get everything we're gonna do. Shooting for 3,000.
So are you saying a couple thousand over what we contracted for in our budget?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Just on this, right now, where we agreed to start hauling some, on these roads to try to fix them. And we're about 2,000 yards, give or take a little, I don't have the exact number, but
Okay, and those couple thousand gravel came from whom?
from Weaver, some and, Benson on the other, and Henderson Creek will be getting some next week when we start on that road down there. We're just hauling from the posted road. So, like, Dover, go down Rock Creek or we were down there, that's just all you can do.
I just had a thought and I don't know. Because of the fact that we met our contracts with the other gravel users for the amount of gravel that we were gonna purchase and we met that and we do have more than just 1, 2, 3 gravel people. And I know that, I'm just saying that with the gravel pit here with, what is it, KLC? What's Tommy's gravel thing?
What miles was?
Just Mazda.
Mazda?
I didn't.
He didn't get his bid in, and which wasn't fair because we didn't notify very well. And I was just wondering if with the gravel that we need, if we need it up here, if we can get it from people up here that we haven't gotten it from.
Well, when we get to buy his place, we will.
But that's what I'm just
Yeah,
asking.
oh yeah. We're the closest pit, that's where we're getting. Just to minimize the expense. So, for sure.
I'm just
If we had,
proposing too, that maybe we visit with this when it comes to budget time on some different form of getting gravel from our people in Granite County. Being more fair with everybody some way because of the fact that the blow bid comes in, but we still get it from other people.
I understand what you're saying, but it's just, when we make them bid it, so that's why we go with low. So I mean, it's just, I guess the main thing, we just get out to them that this is
Yeah.
bid time that.
Yeah.
But if their bid comes in way higher, way low, then they'll get more, but it's just, it's just a big thing that I do understand. I think it should, yeah, when we get ready to start putting it out, we'll get a hold of, it's only what, 4 or 5 people, we can get a hold of them.
and it's always in the paper and it's been the same for every year, forever.
I know, and that's why some people don't see it, they don't read the paper. So I'm thinking that's what I'm proposing is maybe a different way to get it out to the people that do wanna get on it. So that everybody gets.
We could send a letter to every person that has,
Maybe just get us a name on each gravel pit, is that new one opening up with Phillips? We had a thing come in.
that's just an expansion on the one that he has.
Yeah, it's still the same one. Okay, but I'm just saying, maybe he can get us.
I can call him too, it doesn't, I can easily call him on his phone.
So you call everyone?
I said I can call,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's easy enough, there's only 5 of them.
Just a different process where
Sure. No
simply
problem.
because just knowing personally that the one that didn't get a bid in didn't know about it because he didn't read the paper. I mean, that's not the most
But he's
perfect
never-
way that we're sending the notice out.
But
is
with
what
that
I'm
being
saying.
said, he's never missed a bid, except for this time either. So, I mean, I don't
And
know
we
what
still
that-
buy from him anyway, F and R, ain't it?
Yeah, F&R.
F and R.
And that's no problem,
We
when
just
it
had it.
gets time to bid, I can certainly give them all a heads up that it's gonna be in the paper, that's not a problem at all.
Just do that.
That's easy enough.
But yeah, we do still get stuff from F and R, I couldn't think of his name. I just wrote it from Mass, so,
Okay,
no, it's fine. Okay. What's this, Paul?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that being said,
crossing that.
it's the railroad crossing at Drummond. They're wanting to come in this year and do it. And that's what they want the county to pay is the $80,000 a lineal foot, and there's 2 tracks, 2 40-foot tracks, so that's where they're coming up with the 80 feet. And they want the county to pay that 80, but then also with the asphalt repair, whatever asphalt there is gonna be, and I told them, we don't even have any way to do asphalt, that would have to be hired out. Anyway. And obviously the road signs are fine, but, I mean, that's a lot of money, and you might as well figure it's 100,000.
Yeah.
And as you can see, they could talk about, they could push it out to 27, I mean, what they do if you guys just say, well, we don't have the money to do it, I have no idea. You know,
Well, we don't have.
no, I understand that. No, I'm just saying, so you push it out, and that's why they're saying they can push it out another year or whatever. What I think,
Well, isn't it their liability to fix that? The track stuff there?
Yeah,
They always
it'd be
have,
ours.
why would
Yeah.
you all of a sudden now?
Well, they're saying it's joint responsibility, so we'll have to do some, this is Blaine, have to do
Right.
some research there.
but anyway, obviously I told them that's certainly not my call. But they'll have to get with you guys and have a,
For 80 grand, we'll just turn that whole road back into gravel.
right?
So what this is saying. Total anticipated need is 80,000. And they're asking us to contribute half of that.
No, that is half.
So why do they have anticipated total cost? Instead of half
That's
that cost?
anticipated Granite County total cost.
So they're saying it's gonna be $160,000 to,
That's what he told me, it's $2,000 a foot.
And seeing some of that is, it's in their right of way. I mean, they have that. I don't know.
Right.
Blame that.
I mean, listen, obviously, they're gonna have to get with you guys and go over this. This is just a heads up letter. And,
right,
Being they're new to.
yeah,
Yeah.
they just need to get it, even a call in, you know, on the agenda is what I thought.
right. So this is something that we're liable for.
We don't know.
Yeah, I gotta research it.
Okay,
Yeah, we
Okay.
don't know for sure, cause see, we dealt with MRL in Burlington before, we never, these are new guys, so.
so with the prior one, did we have to pay half?
All I understand it is, some counties pay, some counties don't.
We
You know,
never have.
I mean, if you don't. I don't know how you do it, if you don't have the money,
Like historically, we haven't paid, why
No.
should we?
and I have no idea when the last time something of this scope was done either. You know, it's hard to say.
Okay, so does this need to be on the agenda?
Well, right after Blaine does some research.
Yeah.
get it on
Then we
agenda
can
in
put it
future.
on to get a hold of them and see when they come in. I wouldn't put it on the agenda for next week until we find out
And he's,
this, everything.
and this guy from out of state even, I mean, so it would be a phone.
Zoom deal, yeah.
But. Nothing happening today anyway, now you know as much as I do. Which ain't very damn much.
They're changing a lot of stuff,
Yeah,
big time.
but I mean, just the asphalt work even is. Be pricey.
Well, you'd even think on that, you could just cut. You
Yeah,
know,
don't know
a
really.
2 foot strip out of there and
Right.
put some asphalt in there with the skid steer rolling out. I mean, it shouldn't, that 80,000 sounds astronomical for,
Well, this 80,000 has nothing to do with the asphalt,
oh, that's just for the rail crossing.
that's the crossing
Just
stuff.
to rebuild the crossing.
Oh, that's
See,
their
there's-
deal, not ours.
That's
It's
what I'm
just
saying.
the asphalt stuff, that's a
Yeah.
separate,
It's not our track.
right,
We can always shut that off and not have traffic go that way, they'd have to go around.
Yeah. Do that
The
too.
people would have to come all the way around, come from the state, come through the state, and then hit our county, start at this end of the bridge.
We'll put it on, we'll dig
Yeah,
into it.
do some research.
Good research item.
Looking like we'll probably have lots of Meg left over this spring.
I have.
Or you guys don't mix Meg with your salt, do you?
No, it's just all together, we're going through quite a bit of sand.
Yeah.
And the guys are doing a good job patching, always have gotten some calls, and I can tell you that the other day I forgot. But,
Full patch.
yeah, doing a really good job.
I've never seen anybody out patching this time of year.
Not in February.
Western Montana.
Rock Creek was awesome.
We've got our coal patch sitting down there. the 60 ton that we decided to get. But, obviously, we're not picking it up yet, we're waiting. Like I was saying last week, we wanna make sure we use up all the old stuff first, so it doesn't get buried in there. But
All the trucks running good.
so far, so good.
See no bills for cutting edges, so we must not.
Yeah.
So that class for the patching thing, or for the,
It was just for asphalt laying, nothing to do with what we do.
okay,
You'll get a $4,000 bill from Normont for picks that we picked up for the grader, but. And we got cutting edges, serrated edges and regular edges, bad stuff you gotta have, but. Yeah, other than that. Everything's holding together.
Did we get the battery pulled out of that backhoe so people?
I forgot to,
Driving
I got
around.
busy and forgot to call Paul. People are going over getting and I'm driving it around.
There's just one guy that Jason, the deputy, stopped him.
so we haven't had a whole bunch of people jumping on it and driving it around then.
One person that I know of. Yeah, but
Playing any kids?
One
Um,
in total.
Any public comment for Paul? And none, I guess. You're free.
thank you. All right, you guys.
Yeah.
All right, move on to solid waste district, weekly report. Got email from Todd and John.
And some of that, you know, I'm not saying that coolant leak, I noticed on some like when it got down to zero and that, them seals from sitting and not, they were a leak, but if that water, yeah. Or having fridge with it, hope you know that, I guess it do, or should have been done last weekend, sounds like.
Then when?
Last weekend, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Not just from sitting and that, you know how it sits there.
Oh, yeah.
But if
When it gets cold, it's always a good time to figure out how your coolant system is working. Something always blows out.
the other one, the Drummond site, I mentioned to Fred. They need to order a seat cover for that new backhoe.
Oh, yeah.
I told him again, I don't know if we need to send John an email.
Okay.
Would you put this?
Yeah,
Probably
probably.
that took care of. We paid a lot of money for something and it's just.
Order one, too.
Yeah, if you're fine.
Order one?
Order one.
Yeah,
I could order one.
good.
You guys want?
Yeah, that's fine. Miranda just orders one and.
Oh, yeah, you might have to call Caterpillar and find out.
Yeah,
Cause I think that Fred said something about, I said, well, did you call him? And he said,
I'll look into it.
I just wanna keep inside clean and I don't
Yeah.
be full of crap.
Just go in the file over there or.
I can throw in that thing,
Do you want me to sign it first?
I just throw them in here, I think we have been signing them. Just so that, you know, we're looking at them. Other than that, on solid waste, I don't have nothing else besides we'll talk about that, the lead stuff, we'll get that on the agenda. Once he gets us a little more info on it, and we'll put it on the agenda and go from there. Make sure this guy understands.
Anyone? Any public comment on solid waste?
So this is Blaine. Fresh memory, the issue you're talking about is whether leaves and grass are burned or go into the dumpster. That's it.
We kind of went away from, because when we was getting all that rain and that, we were getting so much tonnage. You know,
From the wet grass.
bundled up and throw it in there, that where a guy could set them up there, we don't want people throwing them on the road, so we're saying burn them somewhere.
Yeah. And I know the issue came up with Todd saying, you know, was it issue with DEQ or whatever, but I don't see in the reg where it's, I think you can do it. I think it's
Well, we have and we have, that's the problem, we need to get one way or the other, like Brian's saying. I totally agree with you, but nobody really knows, cause there's so many rumors out there that you can or you can't.
Then potentially should, yeah, right to
That's all I think you're
DEQ.
trying to say
They're
too,
moving.
right?
So is it what, in the solid waste policy, does it say leaves and grass go in the dumpster?
I have to,
I think it might, Brian, I just can't
You have-
remember,
Well, we have a sign up there now that says that they have to go in the dumpster. So we just put up
Yeah,
this
we just
fall.
made a sign.
yeah.
Well, that's all I'm saying is the fact this has been going on
Yeah.
for years.
But if there's a sign up there, then he has, the person has notice of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do need to get, I think, an answer from DEQ, because the way I read it, I think you can do it, as long as you're not creating.
I just gotta have it one way or the other. Don't
Yeah.
matter. I mean, I just don't want it laying along the road. Sure. A lot of weight, you start gaining a lot of weight where you could dispose of by bird.
I mean, if you could get someone to dump their grass and their leaves on the burn pile and spread it all out instead of in big old piles, then it wouldn't smoke so much.
So it's not like we're getting a dump truck over, you know, bag.
Right. Well, and that's,
You
that's the
know,
thing too, like, I mean, it's, it can't be any bags if we do go ahead.
Absolutely.
It's gotta be, they gotta be. They're shoveled out of the back of it or something.
Sooner or later, we need to change to the policy that there, it's not written in there right now that you can't dump if you owe. And I think it should be that,
I thought
I
we
do.
had it in there,
I was looking and didn't,
cause we talked about
Yeah.
that, so, you know, two people from the lower end, you know,
Right,
they said, you
yeah.
can't dump if you owe, maybe it was just a verbal. I thought for sure it was.
you guys, I think we need to get it expressly in there.
Yeah,
It's reasonable, I mean, anyone else, any other type business, you can't continue to do that.
right.
I thought for sure it was in there. We better make sure and get that on, cause there's gonna be, now that it's brought up, there's gonna be stuff.
Probably just on the agenda, we'll just go over
If you owe.
Can we just go over the solid waste policy though?
November, yes.
I thought it was in there, I don't know.
But might need some changes with the grass. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll-
Go ahead, Elena.
You went off.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano, again, for the record. Again, it's hard kind of hearing everybody talking, but as far as the solid waste weekly report, I don't remember seeing it uploaded as a report, since it is a document, and I believe it happens to be public information. Again, you're going back and forth speculating what you thought you did, what you didn't do. Where's the reports? I mean, the public is entitled to seeing the reports, and I haven't seen them uploaded to the website. That's public information as to what the reports are, especially with putting weeds in the burn pile or putting them someplace else. The public should be able to just refer to it and see what the story is. Thank you.
Any other public comment? All right, we'll move ahead to the dam tenders report. Georgetown is currently at 6428.42 feet. 12.96 inches below full pool.
You say 9?
12.96.
So
It
we
was
gained,
14 last week, right?
We were at work, so we gained.
so dropping that 6 from that 4 CS, we've gained 2 inches, so.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion that we stay at 6, doing the look at the weather and nothing looking like it's coming in. I
I'll
think we
second
better
that.
load her up.
yeah, I think we get it full now and we can start letting more out.
Easier to get rid of it than beg to get it.
Yeah. Public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
At 6 CFS, right?
Yeah. We gained quite a bit.
Yeah.
Which is what, or warm weather, they're happy, melt and everything.
No, a little bit.
So the thing is up and running again and
Yeah, yeah, website's working.
But, you know. Who's putting this filing system over there? Next, agenda item is, scope of work and cost on stream flow monitoring at Southern Cross.
may I get Sarah in here on this agenda item? She did call them and got a lot of information.
Sure.
Thank you.
So were we gonna go up to 3,000 on the gravel? I meant to ask that. I was just reading this stuff. I don't think we wanna exceed over 3,000 till we figure out how much we're
Yeah,
paid in or
I
out.
think that's max, and then we'll have to make do until.
Hi, Sarah Graham,
I can't bring it up.
local reporter. You had a question?
So just I asked if you could come in, and that is because you did some research with, with the Riddick, no, where are we? Little Rock.
950.
USGS, gauge.
Oh, okay, with, the monitoring thing.
Right, and all I was doing is trying to determine when we normally pay them. And what I discovered, it was twice a year. And it is two separate things. One's the Flint Creek Dam and one was, I can't remember what.
Southern Cross.
Yeah, and that there were two different ones. And I just never really paid attention to that all those years that I was doing claims, like there was just, we paid it at certain times. So, but then when I was going back, it was like, well, sometimes we were paying it in July and sometimes we were paying it. And then when I started looking at all of the invoices, it was like, well, they were kind of coming in at certain times. And some were invoices and other ones that we were looking at, it was something that was coming up with, which I gathered, or what, after I talked with them, like, okay, this is just our preliminary thing that we send to you so that the commission, or not to me, but to the commission, so they can look at it and decide, you know, whether they want to change anything, if they want any explanation, or, you know, and then we would get the invoice later. So I don't think that answered your question.
We do have a draft letter to them, ask questions,
Yeah.
and ask them to come in and do a presentation. If that was-
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty interesting to find out what they do, because they are complete, I mean, one's like twice as much as the other. So it must be that whatever,
So
the body of water must
The lake
be.
level is all year long
Right.
versus Southern Cross, it's just.
Yeah. Oh, okay,
So you have another letter besides this one?
I think that's the one.
Yeah, just,
Just this one?
Just this
sent out
one.
Yeah.
For information and. Transparency, more information.
yeah,
from
so
them.
you guys get, we can all get a.
Be kind of interesting.
So when you visited with them, was that all they kind of told you?
Yeah, that's all I was just trying to get a handle on when we need to pay them, whether we get invoices or if it's the thing that we had just received, if that's what we pay on, or I was just trying to get a handle on that. So, and then I thought it'd be kind of interesting for them to, you know, since that one letter was saying, well, this is just so that the commission can look at it, if they have any questions, want to change anything, it's like, I think it'd be kind of interesting to have them come in and explain what they do. So, yeah. More information is good.
You got a chance to read the letter, you got a copy of it?
I did, I'm just wondering on this agenda item. Is, that what we wanted? Is that what this is about, is whether or not we're gonna send a letter to them, or,
This is the letter going to
Yeah.
them.
oh, so you need a motion on to send a letter to them then?
I'll make motion, we go ahead and send the letter to them.
Thank you, Sarah.
Welcome.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried, Beth.
Elena raised her hand.
Oh, go ahead, Elena.
Yeah, send, whoops, sorry, Paul. Could we, send Brad Holm a thank you card
Oh, yeah.
for, he's done now. So if we could send him a card for thanks for his
Service
working and service. or-
Who's done?
Brad Holland, the young guy, he's done now.
from home.
He did a good job, he's gonna miss him. I didn't mean to butt in.
Oh, you're fine. Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you. Regarding Elena Gagliano, regarding the letter, and Blanche, again, thank you for Sarah checking on it and getting information. I just, for the record, I just want to say this is something new. That's what I believe Sarah said, how she got the information. And I think you're going to see this a lot, especially when these agencies, whatever you want to call them, are going to start connecting up with data centers. And this is what you're going to see. You're going to see the same thing with Flint Creek, Hydro, the dam, everything. And that was that, the same thing with the roof. What was it, 65 pages, whatever the hell that was. You're going to start seeing that when they get connected to the data centers and you agree to it, this is what you're going to start seeing. Thank you.
Thanks. We're about 5 minutes early, but we'll move forward onto, public notice of board vacancies on the airport board. In here it states that, there are 2 vacancies currently open and 1 vacancy will become open here in the upcoming spring.
So this would just be approving that notice for the.
Right.
I make a motion that this notice go into the paper. Does that be 2 weeks? This 2 week thing,
Right, open.
or just until they're filled?
Well, advertising the town weeks, but it is, does say,
Yeah.
Okay, so this notice is to go into the paper that there are vacancies that need to be filled for the airport board.
Gonna be 2 right now, and then
One.
Dave Lee is gonna be later in the spring.
Second.
Public comment? All in favor? Aye, motion carried, pass.
Did you get the correspondence that Dr. Schneider designed?
But I never did get
Okay, you
anything
did send
from
the
him.
letter in to
Yeah.
design, so I'd say have that on the agenda next week to accept it.
To accept that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got another one for library board to accept too, doing both at the same time.
Elena.
Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you. Sorry that I have comments, but I do. And I think it was Blaine Bradshaw that said something about putting this on the agenda for next week. And I agree because of the letter that Dave Lee sent saying there's got to be a vice chair and he's going to be appointing an airport manager and chair. And so that somebody, usually it used to be Donovan Jones, who used to be on the agenda following the meeting to give you a report. And so I would think somebody who was at that meeting, preferably the vice chair, David Lee, should be giving that report. And that's my comment.
Babe, thanks. this next one, huh? People.
I jumped it, I don't know.
I think just bypass that one right away, huh?
Kind of, and I was like, oh. How's it going?
Good, how about you?
Well, we'll wait for another 10 minutes before we get into the next agenda item. For people that possibly will show up. Who's the drummer got this weekend, Blaine?
Sealy and Superior. Yeah, both at home.
You got Sealy at
both
home.
up, yeah, stuff. How'd you guys do in Lincoln?
Oh, it was bad. I'm not one to criticize refs, but those guys shouldn't even ref in a JV game.
Yeah,
Both sides were complaining. I mean, I think at the
yeah.
end of the first quarter, we had 10 fouls, Lincoln had 1. And then second quarter, they kind of walked it the other way, and then we spotted Lincoln 25 points in the first. That Jack Shack was hot, he was hitting from the 3, and we came out pretty flat, but then we played tough for the rest of the game, but.
Drummond played, he was fouling, they weren't calling him, so.
Yeah, we were getting hacked. Yeah, we didn't have, I think we shot way less free throws than they did, but.
That guy looks like he's 30 years old.
Yeah. But yeah, both the guys, they're all on the free throw line, and both Lincoln, I mean, 'cause they don't know each other, but they were all yammering back and forth about how bad the refs were, and the refs were yelling at them.
We got out of hand.
It never really got out of hand, it was just it was just, yeah.
When Drummond was playing up there, during the girls game, Lincoln fan got kicked out. And it was like a 40-point game.
Yeah.
Like,
I hate playing up in Lincoln on that little, it's horrible.
they shouldn't.
It'll be different when they have them at home here in the last game of the
Yeah.
year. On a big floor, on a normal floor. And then we got Sheridan tonight. And
At
then-
home?
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like we had way more away games than home games this year, but now we got like 3 home games in a row.
That's good.
So we got Sheridan night, Victor Friday. Valley next Thursday, then we go to Sealy. We go to Charlotte and Lincoln at home the following week in the districts.
I wish Drummond would have played some better non-common, playing Deer Lodge, Anaconda, Superior. Those-
Apparently that comes out on the master schedule.
Oh, it does?
There's only like, from what my AD was saying, there's only like 3 or 4 games that the ADs get, so like the Sheridan
Okay.
game is the one that we got, and Charlo, but like.
So
we got
that's
Drummond-
MHSA doing
Yeah,
that.
Drummond and Deer Lodge were MHSA. From what she said, it's gonna be pretty much the same schedule as last year, so Drummond and Phillipsburg will open up right off the bat again. Because
They
they
like
your
that.
schedule.
And I guess Deer Lodge would have that, but having Anaconda does.
No, Anaconda did. Yeah, some years are maybe, but
Yeah,
yeah, Deer Lodge is pretty competitive with us. But Anaconda it's a next league up, you know.
yeah, so
They have like 30, 40 kids out in basketball.
they should be
They should,
or,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of right off the board. I wouldn't be surprised if they bump up here.
the worst one is Shelby playing Class C football. That one,
Yeah.
that should never be.
They good?
Well, the town's huge.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'd rather instead of playing like, I mean, I know they do it because of travel and costs for schools being close to Anaconda, but like, maybe we should be playing like Arlee or someone, like that, or Mission, or, I mean, that's what I guess Arlee was C when we played them, but we used to go west for our games.
You seen the football schedule?
Yep.
So same conference, right?
Yep. Well, so far. You never know.
Home field advantage, that's good.
Yeah, we got more home games this year than
Yeah.
away, so that's
The
nice.
playoffs is home field, right, all the way through, if you're one.
Yeah, we're one, then you go host it all the way for the end.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, we open up with Park City and Drummond in these.
Did they lose quite a few, or they have their own?
I don't know, I got all the rosters at home, so I can look at them. When football season starts getting geared up, so I can see how to prepare.
Didn't have any problem with it, but yeah,
And the travel's ridiculous.
yeah, to have lame deer and lodge grass, well, lodge grass is keeping up with hard, but yeah, that's not right. That's being hated by MHSA.
I think we were, a small class school back east, but it was, the longest we had to travel was like 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Everything was 10, 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
30 minutes, bus just getting warmed up.
Right.
I can't imagine how it's done and the waiting time and for kids studying on the bus if they need to, or, probably not.
I get sick reading on the bus.
I mean, for the most part, travel ain't too bad, I mean. It's 2.5 hours roughly for most of the games, but a couple of those ones are pretty far.
Where's lame deer at? There.
Ashland, I think. Oh, like east of.
They playing there?
No, they're here,
Oh, okay.
but that's at the end of the year. They'll probably forfeit. They forfeited us last year.
So Jason saying that was the only game they forfeited, or was there another one?
Just that one.
Interesting. But it does, yeah. That ain't no good, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a JV game.
But not too bad though. Of course, Drummond gets 3 games, Peoria only gets 2 this year. But probably because that late year game was going to be in Drummond
Yeah.
last year and they lost the game. There's only one game season played Drummond, wasn't there?
What's that?
There's only one football game in Drummond during regular season, wasn't there? Blank year was the other one.
Senior night will be up here.
I can't remember who we had for homecoming.
Time to replace the battery.
The Twin Bridges. Oh, this year?
Yeah. I think it's Ennis, yeah.
I gotta take them and get adjusted this year. They don't, it starts deep and only about a half hour into it, I gotta send them away. I went in and then. Just gotta take them back in. They cleaned them they said try charging them in different ports, so I tried it.
Paul, I think we were, a couple of years ago, we were in Ennis for their homecoming. And they get a ton of kids back. Well, they're adults at that point, but
Yeah.
the whole town was packed with like ex-players, and we met a lot of them, and they're football players are super aggressive, but, I don't know how it is here for people coming back.
Yeah, usually playoffs usually.
Yeah.
But,
Well, for homecoming.
yeah, it's usually ex-athletes usually show up for playoffs.
Yeah, homecoming is the only big one for people coming back.
All right, well, it's 10:10, I guess, is probably who we have for this next agenda item. So we'll move forward into, the letter to the AOPA regarding the decision of the county commissioners. Let's get a chance to read through it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much states you wanna give some.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a summary response, but, I think it adequately explained it, as long as you guys are good with everything.
I think it looks good.
I'm like, motion to go ahead and accept the letter and send it.
I second.
Public comment? Go ahead, Elena.
I'm sorry. Oops. My bad.
Too bad.
Thank you. Okay, Elena Gagliano. This time I think I'm responding as the study commissioner. The letter says, "Dear representatives of AOPA," isn't this a direct response to a letter that somebody actually wrote a couple of weeks ago? What's his name? Shouldn't it have his name on it and the address? I think I have a copy of that letter from AOPA. Let me just get it. I have a whole file here. Brad Schuster, I think his name was. So that's as far as my comment for the record on how that's addressed. I think for the most part it's a good letter, but it is in reference to, I believe, that letter that was sent and received January 19th. It was dated. So just to keep the record straight on this, since there is a conflict with the airport board and documents, and as a study commissioner, we're going to be delving into that also. Thank you.
Overused. Right.
Yeah, I think it's fine to put their names there, and then it's the, Montana Pilots Association as well, so that person's name.
So my take on this is that we're sending to all the representatives, giving them our opinion, not to one particular.
Well, the letter was from like the president of those, I think, of both of those organizations, so it could go back to them, but
So you feel that it should be just addressed to him?
I think.
I know, what's the difference? I mean, if it's going to them, why do you got it?
Yeah, it's not a,
I guess it's. Send it out of there, move on.
no, it should stay the Montana Pilots Association.
Yeah, I can fix it.
What's AOPA? Is that Montana Pilots?
No, there's
No.
two associations there, that one's the different pilots association.
Like airplane or something. Yeah, remember,
Aeronautics,
aeronautic, yeah.
Should we be CCing to somebody else then maybe?
Well, I think it should be addressed to the two people that sent the letter.
I agree. Would we CC it to,
Being a copy
It's
of
just-
the airport board.
are we being vague here, like, it kind of, sort of?
I don't think the letter's vague, I think it could be.
No, the letter's very
but
well
who
written.
it's addressed to could be.
Just who-
Yeah.
Who it should go to? And should it be CC'd to anybody else?
Send it to the airport board.
Okay, so the motion would be to,
denied. There's the motion's got to redo.
Well, you could do the motion with those changes, accept with those changes.
I'll entertain a motion.
okay. I'm making a motion to change who we address to, for this letter. How am I saying that?
I would say move to approve the letter with it being addressed to those who sent the original letter.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the letter with it being addressed to the appropriate people, which would be included,
Those who sent that letter.
Yeah. and then also CC it to the airport board.
Second.
All in favor, public comment?
You gotta be kidding me.
Well, Elena,
That's why we can't remember that.
Thank you. It's Elena Gagliano, again, study commissioner, and no, I'm not kidding. I heard that. I want to agree with Blaine. Thank you, Blaine, and Blanche for adding those comments. Thank you. That makes it clearer, and this way that we can follow it. Thank you.
all in favor?
I,
Aye. Still just wait for a new one.
so I looked at last year's airport budget, and we didn't do any patching over anywhere or anything, didn't look like, doesn't, I haven't seen anything this year. Was it the year before?
I don't remember. He was Has to be a couple years ago then when they.
So, that's concerning that,
Oh, yeah, or it was something that was a future deal.
I just don't remember doing it.
Yeah, so it could have been could be a future deal.
well, I thought they were wanting reimbursement, a grant.
That might have been I might have misinterpreted that.
Okay, yeah, cause I didn't see where they did. Anything,
I'll call Dave Lee. Yeah.
Red line parking area any longer. So, especially. Smith is looking to upgrade for the parking.
It is asked, we play for our own council.
Oh,
I quickly right back to the parking area.
Farthest we gotta travel is Harlow,
yeah, well, what's that?
3 hours.
Yeah.
3.5 days.
So. And the conference before was like Troy in it.
Yeah, so that's.
Yeah, so it's not. It's just the thought of it having, that she goes two long ones, but yeah.
Well, we're about that, that like lowest dropping down to Class C football.
But it'd be next year, so the following, I mean.
Yeah.
Following years out. Yeah. So.
That's a rumor, so you're all the kids anyway, so.
Yeah, well, probably some truth to they're trying. Oh, and they're also looking at, state championship football games being a neutral site, I see that. I'm not sure if that's probably for, it's gonna be
Coming forward, yeah, next year. 2 years.
This last year, all the teams that had home field advantage won.
Absolute power corrupts, absolutely.
That generally they were good teams, but
Yeah.
still, was an added advantage probably.
Right. All right, we're 5 minutes behind, but we'll get caught up here, with the next agenda item of, Willow Rock Incorporated Winter Survey of Georgetown Dam.
It's something they do every year, they go up and they meet bird regs and all that.
Just look for, check for movement and all that stuff.
I'd make a motion to go ahead and accept it and pay it.
I second,
Public comment? All in favor?
I,
Motion carried and passed.
Sign the letter up to the Brad Schuster.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
We did it.
All right, we'll, a little bit early, we'll move on to the next agenda item of Marsh McLennan Agency in Granite County. Insurance agent appointment and agreement.
This plan, yeah, I think they do an excellent job for us. Yeah, it was,
Oh, there you go.
good advice,
I didn't know Brody was coming.
Here's the number.
how's it going? You're up.
You're up.
Rick, how you doing?
Good.
Can you say her name, please, Jody?
Certainly, Rhodey Holman with Marsh McLennan Agency. Good morning, how's everyone doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to come before you. We've talked about this contract in the past. I had mentioned that there was gonna be a modification that was forthcoming as a result of some legal review from Marsh McLennan Agency's attorneys. But the effect of the amendment, if you will, is to, just like we would do with the county, we're in the business of risk management. We would advise the county on managing risk, and we're also trying to manage our own risk. And so essentially what we've done is we've modified the MACO agreement to put a cap on the indemnification or the liability associated with anything that might be an error or an omission on our part to a $10 million limit. Couple things about that, county attorney and I have had some discussions. Oftentimes, when you have one party indemnifying another party, in this case, we are indemnifying Granite County. What you look for in that indemnification is how do we do it? How do we provide that indemnification? And oftentimes it's by virtue of an insurance policy that's provided. So you'll note that in the document, the original document, it called for a $1 million limit of liability on the errors and omissions coverage. Which that in and of itself is something that our company far exceeds that limit. So the net effect of it is this really doesn't change a whole bunch. If you think about it in the context of perhaps what another agency would be doing in our place. If you had another agency, they're gonna look at that liability limit that they have on their errors and omissions policy. For whatever it could indemnify, the county for. So that's kind of the ebb and flow of what's going on here. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, it's reasonable. I mean, those are high amounts for, coverage there. So, yeah, I don't see the issue.
And to give you some context, so your liability, of course, Granite County is protected by the statutory flood limits of MCA 29108, which is $750,000 per person and $1.5 million per claim. That's the cap in a court claim, statutory court claim. That would be the cap that Granite County would be quote unquote on the hook for, is that $750,000 per person and $1.5 million per claim. So if you kind of look at what your liability limits would be in a tort claim and compare that to what we're agreeing to indemnify Granite County for in the event of an error, that's a pretty big gap. So, I guess if you look at it in that, just to kind of give you a frame of reference or perspective on that. So that's effectively what we're talking about. Do you guys have any questions, or can I answer any further questions?
No. I'll make a motion that we go ahead with the property casualty agent appointment and agreement.
I'll second.
Public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried fast.
So I have the agreement if you wanna sign it today or.
I got it right now.
I got it, all sounds good. I did,
Isn't it this one or?
it is, but I had sent this both to Miranda and to, county attorney. And the one I sent had, the amendment had just entity name inside, so I've modified it to account for it being Granite County. So
Good.
And then, by the way, on the actual Mako agreement, so you've got the Mako agreement, and then you've got the amendment. On the Mako agreement, the commission percentage, there's a spot there, and historically, we've been at 10%, so I don't leave that at the 10%.
Okay.
That one? See what they're in a minute. That's the,
I'm gonna call Paul back and said call him. Paul,
Call them back.
yeah.
Good call anyway. Yep.
Or just Granite County.
Okay.
we're submitting in these two.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Yeah, that's saying, it's gonna be, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be auto liability.
Okay, cool, thank you for.
You want us to send this to Mako or?
We can do that. Why don't we keep a copy for your record since it exists
Yeah.
right now, and then once I obtain the Mako signature, I'll get it.
Sounds good.
Back.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
I apologize for the length of time it took to get that amendment put together.
Oh.
And it's throwing a big vat of molasses, and you never know what's gonna come out the other side. So,
Molasses.
molasses. You guys have a good one.
You too.
Thanks.
You too.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for traveling.
Absolutely happy to do it.
Nice day for a drive.
I need it. Think so.
Just wanna make sure, so I don't, we're not going over 3,000 cities.
Say that again.
We're not going over 3,000 yards,
Oh, okay, good.
otherwise they'll get carried away and. So we just got budget.
Some of these roads, I think even after next week that are out in the sun, you'll be able to hit on that with the blade.
And we can't just. Win time.
So just looking at the cash report, gas tax is negative 115,000.
Do what now? Say that again.
They're in the negative 115,000. So we received, I don't know if we receive every month, 12,000. So we received 12,000, we were 127 negative. So
We all got to our gas tax.
gravel.
Yeah, we have that.
The
Yeah.
mag, do we take the mag out of it?
Well, then I didn't know if we took all culverts and that out of gas tax.
Beaver Bridges.
Something signed by Mako.
Okay, thanks, Wayne. Yeah.
Alright, we're about 5 minutes early, but we'll go into our closed session. Have you step out for a little bit for a closed session? Thank you.
Where's that? Delta daughter. We live
Brandon.
way out the Brandon. I know that because they did like. Open back up. Let's sit over there.
Yeah, this is, mine.
There's a board?
Yeah, right there, yeah, right there, yeah, please sign in if you would. I just want to.
What is that? You pen?
Watermark. Watermark. You want them?
No, I got.
There's a couple chairs up here.
Alright, so we're back on here, we're
I think so.
right on time here for the county surplus bid opening. We only have one bid. That's from Patriot Excavation. And it's for the Ingersoll Rand vibrating roller. And we got a bid of $3,025.
I make a motion, we go ahead and accept it on the Ingersoll, and then we'll, next week we'll put the backhoe back on the agenda and talk a little bit.
I second.
Public comment? All in favor?
I
Motion carried passed.
in the envelope too.
This Blaine, you thinking about lowering the minimum bid on it, or what were you
I
thinking?
guess there's a couple other things.
Okay.
We'll start then.
Yes, Steve.
Yes, it'd be easy.
Please remember.
Couple chairs up here, Cameron.
Come on up, Cameron.
Oh, it's not my topic. So. It's your, it's a question.
All right, we'll move forward, for the Red Line Road Matters, the Forest Service parking area. You state your name.
My name is Patrick Jamay.
And
I live at 45 Hidden Mine Road, Upper Hidden Mine Road. So basically, the issue that's come about was recently, there was an incident where the law enforcement officer came and confronted my neighbor, Brandon Belrose, and his family. And well, he took it as a threat. And I'd been threatened last year with having my vehicle impounded and towed for parking in the Red Line parking area. So now what we understand from the Forest Service is that as landowners, we're not considered recreational users any longer. And when I look up the definition of recreational, we definitely fall into that category. Had a discussion with my cousin, who's an appraiser, and she stated unequivocally that off-grid properties are definitely considered recreational properties. The Forest Service, in its own policies, has a recreational residence program. So they have their own program with 14,000 cabins, and recreation is right in the title of their program. So we're at a loss as to why, as landowners, we're being told, well, you can't park in that parking area, which I'm guessing is about 3.5, maybe 4 acres. Will probably hold several hundred vehicles. And to have, to basically force everybody to park on the middle of the road, we're at a loss to figure out why. And, you know, my research, I've come across a lot of things that, in my view, are done improperly against landowners, not just here, but other snow park locations that I'm aware of. So it's not unique to just here. So the question we have is, what can we do? I'm aware, like in 2013, there was a commissioners meeting where it was agreed to the closure of Red Line Road for snowmobile use in the wintertime, but that parking would be provided. Now that was kind of ambiguous. We don't know what was that agreement? Was it for use of the Red Line Snow Park or alternative parking? Currently, we've taken to carving out a little area just before the avalanche beacon on the right-hand side that can accommodate 3 vehicles parked nose in. There's no way you're gonna park a truck and trailer in there with snowmobiles. Last Saturday, Red Line Road was a parking lot because there were trucks and trailers, snowmobiles. Everybody's nervous about parking in the snow park. So everybody's lining the road. Nobody, the park was empty. So our concern is, you know, what can we do about this parking situation? None of us like the idea of parking alongside the road because the road's narrow enough. I've got concerns that if everybody's parking alongside the road, one day somebody's gonna come up there with their family and snowmobiles, and an excited kid's gonna run out from the car between a truck and trailer, and I mean, that's gonna be a disaster. So, you know, ideally what we want is to just go back to being able to use the parking area, snow park. Generally, the landowners up on that hill, you've got Brandon up there with his family, he's full-time. Tom is up there full-time now. I will be eventually. So you're talking about maybe 4 or 5 vehicles in that parking area. So again, we're at a loss as to why we're being singled out and excluded from being able to park there. So the interactions we've had with law enforcement were, well, not nice, let's put it that way. Brandon was very nervous because his interaction, the officer had his hand on his weapon the whole time. That was in the middle of the trail. Brandon's daughters are here today, to read a letter that he wrote. I've got copies of that letter, which I'll disperse.
When you're talking law enforcement, are you talking Granite County or
Robert Littlejohn.
okay, I just wanna make that clear.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah,
it was not, Park Cal.
yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. So anyway, Brandon had his interaction with him. My interactions were, I had a snowmobile trailer that I put in the snowmobile parking area. While I was up there last summer, there was a TV show that got filmed for at Brandon's place. So I had left the trailer there, unattached to a vehicle. So Officer Littlejohn called me up and said, hey, I can't park there. I said, okay. So I went down, removed the trailer, moved it up to another neighbor's place about 5 miles up the road. And then I'm here part-time, so I went back to my business in California. Next thing I know, and I was gonna come out in September and watching the weather, there was gonna be a snowstorm coming in. So I asked Brandon to take my trailer and bring it down to the bottom, so that way when I came out here, it wouldn't be stuck up on the mountain and I would bring it back to California. So anyway, Brandon brought it down and within hours, I got a phone call from Officer Littlejohn again, threatening to impound the trailer a second time. And I tried to explain to him that this was temporary, we just brought it down so it wouldn't be abandoned up on the hill all winter long, which it is now. It's stuck up at Nick Zimmerman's place, just because too much snow. So anyway, long story short, we've got to figure out something for parking. And while we had some ideas, that none of them are as good as returning to the way it was.
What's the reason for shutting the parking down? What have you heard?
Well, the reason
I mean, we've heard gossip and that, but
yeah, we don't know 100% for sure. Officer Littlejohn told me that the parking area was for recreational use only. And that's why I mentioned the classification of off-grid properties is considered recreational in all real estate terms. And that they have their own recreational residence program. I think there's about 170 cabins within Deer Lodge that fall in that program, but 14,000 nationwide. So in my view, the Forest Service is using verbal gymnastics to basically kick us out of there. And we don't know what the reason is.
remember in that, I might be wrong, but I was thinking in that meeting back, that they could stay there for so many days and then they had to move. It wasn't like it was they could actually leave them there and go do whatever.
Yeah, so you kind of get a kick out of this when we asked about what the criteria was. We were told that Officer Littlejohn would be patrolling once a week. And that when he came by, if there was snow on our vehicles, that was reason to have him cited and towed. I'm like, wow, that's a pretty crazy response. And we press more and then we're told, well, after 72 hours, it's considered abandoned. And I'm thinking to myself, who's going to abandon a $50,000 or $100,000 pickup truck or a $20,000 trailer? So they're using semantics to justify their positions is the way we look at it.
So Blaine Bradshaw, County Attorney.
Sure.
What we talked on the phone
Blaine,
there,
yes, okay.
Nice to meet you. So one clarification is, Officer Littlejohn was not representing Granite County or the Granite County Sheriff's Office. Want to let you know that.
Okay.
That was for the Forest Service. First, the parking area, the county does not have jurisdiction over the parking area, is my understanding. We don't have any, I'm not aware the county has any agreements with the Forest Service. So, I think the first remedy is try to exhaust all your remedies with the Forest Service on that issue first. Regarding, the parking along a county road, the county cannot prohibit parking along a county road, but also you're correct that you can't obstruct the road either. So, it's kind of a little bit of a catch there.
Catch-22.
Yeah, catch-22. So, I guess I'd like to see, exhaust your remedies with the Forest Service, but then if you came back to the commission, or would you be asking for, more than just parking along the county road, or what would you be?
Well, that's some of the ideas that we've been kicking around. First, okay, I'll put them in the order that we think would be ideal. One is return to the status quo, to where the residents are able to use the parking area again, as has been for the last, who knows, 20 years or more. Option two, which we've heard that there's complaints that the Forest Service does not receive revenue from the use of that parking area. So the thought we had was, okay, do a special use permit. But when we've asked for special use permits, the pat answer is, no, I won't do that. So, without even reviewing anything, we're given a negative answer. Third option we thought of was the possibility of the county buying that gravel pit, because that's essentially what it is, and then make it a multi-use parking. Option 4 was gonna be a carve out in the 60-foot right of way on Red Lion Road, which ideally, we wouldn't want to do that all on both sides of the road. Maybe we could do it at 40 feet on the left side of the road. Because the road is, I think, is 20 feet supposedly. So if we did 40 feet on one side, at least that would provide parking that's a little bit more removed out of the line of traffic. So I don't know if that's a possibility.
Who owns that gravel pit?
Forest Service.
Yeah, so,
Back to
Yeah.
square one.
yeah, Mexico one, but
Yeah, so I don't know if that was even a possibility. We're just kicking around ideas. And my last idea was doing something where maybe the county would buy half of the gravel pit and the landowners could possibly contribute also, and then in turn, gift our purchases to the county. I mean, that, and honestly, I'm a business owner, that's a write-off for me, so it doesn't affect me
I think
personally.
the gravel pit, I haven't been up there, they took quite a bit out, haven't you, out of the county?
It hasn't been a gravel pit for decades.
Well, that's something that happened recently last year that I became aware of, is that there was an agreement to use the gravel out of that area for the repairs for Phillipsburg to repair Red Lion Road so they can access the reservoir. And at the last minute, that agreement to use that gravel got rescinded. And which put the repair project in jeopardy. Now, the way I understand it, Danny Flynn donated a lot of that gravel off of his property so the project could continue. So hats off to Danny for stepping up and, doing what the Forest Service wouldn't. Now, obviously, my gripe is more with the Forest Service for doing what they've done without an explanation. I'm aware that, your commissioners meeting earlier had stipulated that parking for snowmobilers would be provided in one of the forms that Brandon got. So I was looking through that. And the last 2 paragraphs, I think, had included that, but I wasn't aware of how that was agreed to.
yeah, I'm not aware that the county's ever agreed to parking. I think my hope that we can try to get a remedy, but I don't know that the county's already committed to provide parking.
Yeah, it was in the 2013 commissioners meeting. And then
Yeah,
the
but-
2022 addendum to that meeting The only change that I could see there was that the closure of Red Line was extended by another 45 days. So the closure went, instead of April 1st, it went to May 15th on the closure.
That was due, that the closure thing was, they were gonna look to see how much snow it was, cause it was changing so much before they put that through.
Yeah, I just saw the dates that, that's the one thing I noticed was the dates were extended by 45 days. Now, as landowners up there, as the snow recedes and goes up the hill, parking starts to move further up the road because you can only snowmobile down so far. So it just keeps on moving further and further up, and we park alongside, you know, as far as we can without getting stuck. So, you know, it's a makeshift solution that we've come up with. But the big concern we really have is, you know, to just make sure there's parking for the landowners, but not in a fashion that would result in a safety issue to anybody else.
Have you mentioned to them like parking there and then set it up like buying a path for the winter time, you know, like not a whole big chunk of money, but something that they could
Well,
get revenue on?
Yeah, I'd mentioned that, about 2 years ago with Cameron, that, where I'm originally from, up in California, up near Truckee, there's a place called Little Truckee Summit. It's a snow park. In California, their snow parks are treated a little differently.
Hey,
So snow parks in California are a paid snow park. They're not a free snow park like here. So you pay $25 to get your pass for the season, or $5 a day. So you get a little thing you put in your window.
well, that way they know it's not being abandoned and that, you know.
Exactly.
Have a sticker, I've seen them in different snowmobile areas.
So what happened at Little Truckee Summit, it's very similar to here, where they close Weber Lake Road, only to tracked vehicles. So all the people that have cabins back in there, they bring their snowmobiles up, they go in, they stay for a week, 2 weeks, a month, however long they're staying. And they had the same situation, it was a snow park. So they were buying the snow park passes. And then, they coordinated with the Forest Service they agreed to cordon off a small area for the locals. And you hang something on your rearview mirror or on your side window, you know, depending on, you gotta make it visible,
Yeah,
you know. So I proposed that, and Cameron's response was, well, I won't do that. I'm like, okay, so I offered a solution, but it was shot down, you know, immediately. I also offered that we do a special use permit, where, you know, you do an annual, each individual landowner would come in and do a special use permit, pay the fee, $25, $50, whatever it is per year. Well, the same answer, no, I won't do that. So how do you negotiate on something like that? So my thought was, if we can get you people involved, you've got a lot more clout than we do as landowners. Unless I take it to a legal point, which I don't want to do. I hate litigation, sorry.
so we.
But, you know, in my research, like I said earlier, they're playing verbal gymnastics on their reasoning. And when I look up laws, statutes, code of federal regulations, I've got a whole list of things that have been violated. Landowners' rights are violated, personal rights are violated. And I don't want to air anybody's dirty laundry here, but I'd rather stay away from that. I mean, I've got lots of information here that, sorry, Cameron, but you wouldn't like this.
Have you done a written application though for the special permit, special use permit?
No, we were just shot down immediately verbally. So, you know, again, when you negotiate, you have to start with the intent that you're gonna come up with a solution, not just an immediate, we're not gonna do that.
I guess what I don't understand why they like that, where they got these walk-in areas there and they make parking for them along the road, you know, they gate it off, you can park there in front all day and all night or camp, you don't have to move your camp. What, I just
Yeah.
don't understand why all of a sudden this is just.
We don't know either. We've been scratching our heads. It's a good thing I shaved my head because I'd be yanking my hair out. I inquired with a camper there last weekend. He had a little travel trailer and he was over skiing at Discovery. And I asked him, "Well, how long you been here?" He goes, "Well, I've only been here for a couple days." And I said, "Well," and he goes, he wasn't able to camp at his other location. So he goes, he mentioned he went over to the Phillipsburg Forest Service office and asked, and they said, "Well, camp over there." And he asked, "Well, how long can I stay?" And their response was, "Stay as long as you want." And I'm like, so you've got somebody coming to visit being told, "Stay as long as you want." But as landowners and property taxpayers, we're being told you can't even stay there. We were actually, one person was even told you can't even unload your snowmobile in the parking lot. So, you know, we're at wit's end.
I think my advice to the county commission would be to have, you know, for you to go back, try to exhaust the remedies with the Forest Service, get something in writing from them denying that, and then coming back to commission. I think, but commission can, understand what you're saying. The commission could, potentially, support that special use permit or something of that nature.
Well, we supported them before up there, that's the thing, I just don't, I guess my biggest kick is why all of a sudden now it's shut off.
Well, the person you need to ask is back here. Cameron?
Well, I was thinking that we do have Cameron here, if you'd like to come up and make a comment, or where we understand that this is Forest Service property and we need to start there. So if Cameron's willing to give us
Sure.
a statement.
I'm Cameron Ray, the district ranger for the Forest Service here in Phillipsburg. And a couple things that occurred over time. One, we haven't had a law enforcement officer for a long time, but the laws haven't changed with this. We just haven't enforced it very well in the past. It specifically states unattended private property left on National Forest System land for greater than 72 hours would be a violation. And we do have trailheads like what you just mentioned, Scott, where let's say they go into the wilderness. You could go to those trailheads, that trailhead, that parking area has been set aside for recreational purposes. And you could park a vehicle there. You could go take a week-long backpack trip. That's 100% authorized. And the red line parking lot is no different. So any personal property left 72 hours unattended would be subject to violation unless it's being used for recreational purposes. Recreational purpose up there could be use of a cabin. There's no doubt. But what we're trying to get a hold of is vehicles being left there for a month, trailers. I guess I heard there was a school bus either last year or the year before. That's what we're trying to get control of. So if you go to your cabin, just for an example, and you have a snowmobile, trailer, and a pickup, and you park in the parking area, unload your snowmobile, go up, stay a week, come back out and then leave, that's not a violation.
That's not what.
Whether you're, I'm not gonna debate with you on what Robert Littlejohn and you have had discussions. I'm not privy to those conversations. I'm just telling you what the laws and how we're interpreting it here. That would be legal to do that. Now, if you have an enclosed trailer and you're using it for a storage reason, for groceries or vehicles or whatever, and it stays there for a long time, that would be a violation. We're not in the business of providing areas for storage and storage units. So that's our biggest concern. I do know, like, one of Brandon's daughters, you guys worked at Discovery or Seven Gables or something, okay?
I did both.
And you kept a vehicle down there, but it was never unattended because she's driving to work in it.
I need to comment on that.
So,
I see what you're saying, to keep it clean and not have a bunch of shit get piled
Yeah.
up in there.
And then
I think
there-
they all understand that too, and that'd be some of their doings if they could ever get a permit two parts there that they could tell, well, that's been there, that's nothing to do with it, you know, and they could call it in and say, well, let's get rid of it.
And here's my concern with that, Scott, is Patrick recently sent us a document. There's 46 lots up there. So someday, 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, that's what I'm thinking about. Are we gonna allow 46 lot owners who eventually build homes and wanna live up there year round a place to park or to store stuff? I mean, does each one get the trailer and the car? Do I do 46 individual permits? It's just, it could get to be a lot. And 20 years ago, we didn't have a problem up there because nobody was living up there year round. Brandon was the first one, and I believe he moved up there 6, 7, 8 years ago, when he finally moved permanent residence up there. So it is somewhat of a new thing, and we're just trying to find our way and not, I don't want to use the word junk it up, but not like make it for recreationists in the future don't have a place to park either, because that's what that area is set aside for. It's for parking for snowmobile use up there. What?
That gravel pit, would that ever be for sale or be willing to exchange or do anything with that, or is that given an option?
I mean, no, we're actually trying to like get rid of in holdings national lease, so we would hate to like create another in holding or anything.
Yeah, comment? State your name, please.
Thank you. I'm Alea Sapp. I'm Brandon Belrose's daughter. I just did want to make a comment based off of something you said. To my understanding, via boondocking law, because I've personally done a lot of boondocking throughout my life, you're allowed to have a vehicle stationary for about 2 weeks or 14 days before it has to be moved to be in violation of Forest Service laws. And that is to my understanding from doing a lot of years of personal boondocking in multiple states.
Can you
I
restate
also-
that again?
Yeah.
We're being kind of slow down. Tough fast, I'm sorry. I wanted to point out that, to my personal knowledge, do correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously you're in more jurisdiction than I am, but to my knowledge, to be in accordance with boondocking laws, you're allowed to be stationary for up to 14 days before it has to be moved, before it's in violation with Forest Service laws. And I've been in experience with this in multiple states, not just Montana, and including Colorado and Wyoming. So, I had another comment and I just lost it. To my knowledge, it is also, in violation to not have a written or verbal notice before threatening legal action for, say, a parking violation. There was absolutely no written notice, there was no ticket, there was not a phone call. It was just all of a sudden one day we had law enforcement up there and be like, you can't do that no more, good luck. And to my knowledge, that is a massive legal violation.
I don't know the law, so I can't.
Well, to clarify a little bit, we have a 16-day camping limit, state camping limit, that's been in effect for
Long gone.
long time, and that's camping. But what overrides that is the unattended personal property for 72 hours. So if we come across a hunting camp that someone put in a week before, and then they just leave for the week, and then they want to be their opening day, that equipment has been there for greater than 72 hours unattended, and it could be impounded. Now, there is, I'm not 100% sure of all this process, but there is a process where the law enforcement officer has to tag it with the date and start.
Yeah.
So there is a whole process for that.
That's where my stipulation is that there was no process, it was just immediate straight to the bullet, good luck. Also, to my knowledge, in the state of Montana, property is not considered abandoned until 5 months.
There's federal law that says 72 hours, so attorneys can argue that in law enforcement.
Yeah, I don't know if we want this meeting to be a debate over.
No,
I think we're trying to.
We're just getting,
we're
just getting information here. We're trying to see if
Well,
we make it work.
the 72 hours and consider a vehicle or property abandoned is quite the stretch. It's well known that there are people up on the mountain. 72 hours, I'll be honest, when I go up to my cabin, it's a 10-mile snowmobile ride up there. I don't come back down within 72 hours to, move my vehicle in case the meter maid mark my tires with chalk, to indicate that it's been moved. What we're asking really is just to be reasonable. And that's the bottom line for us.
That's why I'm thinking, you know, like we're saying, it's gotta go to them first, and then we'll have to see what happens, you know? I mean, I understand, I've been through it, but 3 times on the county. On
Cameron?
line.
Is there potential buying a permit to park there, or is that totally out of the question?
Well, I've talked to Brandon a lot about this, and again, it's the precedent of what happens 5 or 10 years down the road. Where I give out 2 permits or 3, because there's 3 people who live up there, but they just continually start coming.
Can't you make them have permit for everybody that uses it, and then if they don't have that tag in, then that's where they can step in?
Well, again, 20 years from now, do I want 100 vehicles or 50 vehicles and 10 trailers parked there? That's what my concern is in the long term.
There's only be a few places left to go, so I'm thinking that's why they're really pushing on some of this too. You know,
Public brings money to the lake, the private doesn't. Everybody that visits that parking lot.
Can you state your name? if you
Yeah,
want to speak?
in a comment. There's, I don't wanna beat a dead horse, cause this is a Forest Service problem, but, public people that are here for public, we love that place. You know, it's your parking lot when you're there publicly. Privately, you bought property in the backcountry. It's your problem, not the public's. So what you're asking the public to do is give up our rights to play. We've already given up the right to rip down the trail because we're getting dog shit, because there's always dog shit up there. Like last year, we couldn't even play in the parking lot. In the bottom generation, Scott, you know this, generation after generation, people have been playing in the bottom parking lot. Campfire, kids sledding hill. That way they don't have to cross the lake to go to the other sledding hill. We didn't even get to do that last year. First time ever. Forest Service is finally doing something because they finally hired somebody to help. The public is sick of going to the parking lot and seeing trash. Last year's pit was absolute pit. And the Forest Service is trying to do something. So if you want to do something, work with the Forest Service, but leave the county out of it.
It does need to be a two-way.
You guys, no, there's no way. Last year, there was no way. I'm not gonna waste the county. Forest Service, we can do that. Forest Service, is there's plenty of us that are frustrated. There are some people up there, we hope they have a great life out there, but you guys are creating problems for us. You don't need to. Okay, they're not our problems, they're your problems.
Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna take it a little bit different course right now. So, the legal end of things. There's an act called ANILCA, which is codified by the Supreme Court and agreed to by the Forest Service in combination. And there's a variety of parts in that law that state that the Forest Service cannot prevent access to inholder lands. And that's essentially what's happening here. In a roundabout way, technically the law says they cannot interfere or prevent you from using trails, roads, and areas to access your property. Well, the road, obviously, they don't interfere with that. They allow snowmobiling on it. We're a little confused as to ownership of the road, if it's a county road all the way up, or is it segmented part way? Nobody seems to be able to tell us. But anyway, under the ANILCA Act, areas are included in that. And I would include the parking area as an area. And they're preventing access by basically eliminating parking. And I can give you the ANILCA, the statute, it's section 1323A. And there's a variety of things below that deal exactly with this situation. So again, I go back to the verbal gymnastics that they're using to circumvent that.
That's just kind of one statement I have is like, you know, like Blaine said, like, I mean, it's more your fight with the Forest Service because we don't have jurisdiction over that law. So I mean, I think you need to work that out first, and then if that doesn't work, then we move forward. I mean, my thoughts. I don't know the other commissioners' thoughts on that.
Well, there isn't much choice, I mean, then when it comes back to us trying to widen the road, we gotta, you know, see what, even if it's feasible, then with snow plows, and I mean, then you're getting into another big headache.
Right.
The
And-
liability for us is gonna be out, like I said, kids coming out, trying to plow up there, hitting rigs.
Yeah, it's from our viewpoint, you know, doing an additional carve out parking is not an ideal situation.
No.
The previous situation is ideal. And we don't understand why, all of a sudden this happens, and quite frankly, it happens pretty much right at the beginning of the winter time, where you don't have an opportunity to come up with a solution. Whether it's a carve out alongside Red Line Road, or whatever we could come up with. To implement this right at the beginning of the winter season is, I don't know the good term for it that I want to say in public.
I mean, I personally feel like this wouldn't have been such a giant blow up of an issue if proper precautions were taken before blowing it up, I guess I should say. Because like I've mentioned before, there was absolutely no written notice. There's been a permission that has been long-standing for years. There was absolutely no communication in any format. It was just all of a sudden, good luck. And I feel like if there's proper precautions taken, this could have been a completely different route.
It was also agreed to some years ago when the whole brouhaha happened about plowing on the road, that Cameron made a commitment that parking for landowners was allowed. Now, he made that commitment to Brandon's family, not to me, not to any of the others. But to single it out, that seems now odd. Let's put it that way. Good. Edward.
Couple things I'd like to respond real quick, if that's all right. So first off, Officer Littlejohn has not issued any violations. He's only talked with them and done warnings. How those interactions have played out, I don't know, I wasn't there. So, but there's been no violations issued by Officer Littlejohn. Secondly, Anilka, I'm very familiar. It's a Alaska Lands Conservation Act. And neither the county nor the Forest Service is impeding any kind of access to your property. We're discussing the convenience of parking in a snowmobile parking area today, not restricting you from accessing your property for the reasonable enjoyment. So I'm not connecting the dots with Anilka at all. I'm sorry, I'd love to read what you're talking about. But I don't see how the convenience of parking somewhere has anything to do with Anilka and access. Number two, Anilka's never been tried in the lower 48 either. So we've somewhat adopted it because there's some good principles in it, but it's an Alaska national law, mainly with national parks, wildlife refuges, and Forest Service up there. So it's not quite apple to apple.
But it was codified by the Supreme Court.
The second,
50 states.
I would like to ask a question of the county. Do you guys have any kind of policy on parking limitations on county road or abandoned property or anything like that?
No, it's just, right now, as far as, state law that says you can't prohibit parking along a county road, but then you also can't obstruct it, so there's no policy beyond the state law, but, abandonment, that would just be state law as well.
I'll just say one thing. That's, I think,
Can you stand up and say your name?
My name is Tom Clocker. I have a property here, there's 4 units up on Red Line Road. And from my understanding, the law states that there's 2 landowners on a county road and actually living in their premises on that. You cannot deny them access to that property. That's a state law, number 1. So it really goes back to the county and giving things worse, there's no parking. And we've got a snowmobile situation up there where they're kind of controlling that road at this time of the year. The law states if there's 2 landowners up there living there, you cannot deny us access to our property. And that doesn't matter if I'm gonna drive a big 4-wheel truck up there, a snowmobile, side by side, whatever. I have legal access to that property. So I suggest, like what Patrick was saying, and I love snowmobile, that's why we bought this property. It's not that I need to drive to my property, and I just built a luggage lodge up there that we're gonna be doing Airbnb, and we're putting some cabins in. But we need to be able to access our property, and if it's using snowmobiles, we're all fine with that, following all the guidelines.
Where's all your customers parking? Where's all your customers?
Hey, let him talk.
Sorry.
Anyways, that's my big concern, because at this time, we are living there, we plan on living there permanently. And right now, like Patrick's saying, now with the Forest Service, we have nowhere to park. And so I'm the one that actually took one of my piece of equipment and opened up a little place on the county road. So my wife and I and whoever, Brandon and his children, have a place to park, because I also got cited from the Forest Service that I had to move my vehicle. So, yeah, this is a big concern of mine. We just invested a pile of money up there. And we love the area, and we love the area for snowmobile. That's our biggest interest in buying that. So that's, if you really look into the law, and I think you can see that we have a lot more rights here today than I'm hearing, period.
I disagree with your interpretation of the law that if you have, hold on. If you have, a right to it, that the county has to fight that battle for you. I disagree with that argument. But actually, the statute says that if, the county cannot abandon a county road if there's two adjoining land. So that totally talks about abandonment versus fighting a battle like this. With this said, I mean, the county, from what I've seen, the county commission is trying to be your advocate here, they're trying to think of ways to help you. So, I think putting it on the county commission to say, you guys have a duty to fight this battle for us, or you're wrong, or you're fighting the law, that's incorrect. Your interpretation of the law is incorrect.
My attorney on that one.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. We ain't gonna get nowhere starting to argue.
I don't mean to do that, you know, I just basically want to.
Hey, on.
Access to it.
Wendell. Wendell.
Wendell, you said? Go ahead,
Yeah.
Wendell.
Yeah, I just raised my hand because Trista is the one that was waiting to talk. So I was just raising my hand so she could talk.
I don't know.
Someone else wants to,
He raised his hand for somebody else can talk.
I heard Tristan.
I think she's one of the landowners up on Red Lion, I believe.
That one.
Trista, I asked her to unmute.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Hello.
Yep, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Trista Jones. Our family has had land up there since probably the 40s. And so been there for a long time. I see how people want to gain access to their land up there, but it's also they purchased this land knowing full well there was limited access. The road has been crap for years. We know that. It's been like that. We acknowledge that. We're not trying to make it better. We like it the way it is. One of the reasons I think the Forest Service guy was mad, there was a trailer, like a snowmobile trailer up there all winter. It didn't move. It was parked there the whole time. Nobody moved it. It looked like nobody was even using it. To me, it looked like abandoned property. I called the county on it, never heard back. And also there's dogs everywhere. They're not on leashes. We go riding, the dogs come after me. I don't know these dogs. I don't like dogs. I don't want them after me, biting my legs. So I get that people are buying property up there, but you also have to know what kind of access you have when you purchase the property. It used to be a place of serenity, and we don't want a suburb up there. And that's what it looks like it's going to be. I'm done.
Thank you.
couple comments to that. There's not a county leash law, but if they're chasing you, that's a vicious dog. So I've turned that into the sheriff's office. Abandonment issues could be turned into, along the county road, can be turned into the sheriff's office.
I'm gonna go back to the commissioners meeting of 2013. So, last page reads, whereas the Board of Commissioners have determined the regulation of permitted use by wheeled traffic during the period of December 15th to April 1st of each year may include restrictions on days and times the road may be used for hauling, requirements for plowing and signing the road, and provisions for alternate parking for snowmobile users. And then in the last paragraph, it mentions the alternate parking for snowmobile users again. And that's what I referred to earlier regarding the previous commissioners meeting.
Can I see that for a second?
Yes, I'll give you two. It is the 2022 one, which shows the additional 45 days of closure to the road. So if you go to the 2013 one, second page.
I think what that is saying is that people can and there could ask for special use permit from the county, and they would that alternate parking would go along with that special use permit. Whether that if you're saying that means that the county committed to like a parking area, I don't think so.
That's what we're guessing. We don't know.
It doesn't mean that.
Okay.
But again, it could be parking along the cameras.
22 saying it's a resolution, saying that between December and whatever, wheel traffic for night.
But they could do that by special use permit. That would have to be looked on case by case basis. And then that alternate parking talks about going along with that special use.
But when the special use permit isn't even an option. I mean, I know you're concerned about the quantity of properties that are up there, but hardly any of them are developed. If we want to look at it from the viewpoint of currently, there might be, I'm guessing, what, about half a dozen cabins?
There's about 8 right now and it's been built in the last 3-4 years.
Eight total up there?
So that provision, that resolution is talking about special use permit from the county on wheel traffic up there. So it basically exception to that.
Okay.
Snowmobile rule.
Well, what I'm gonna propose here is that there's 8 properties up there now. The concern is that 46 properties would get developed. Well, why don't we address that once there's 46 properties that get developed? In the meantime, issue special use permits for landowners that have places up there now. I mean, that parking lot would probably hold several hundred vehicles, and to have 2 or 3 or 4 or even 5 or 6 vehicles for landowners up there to be restricted seems like a real stretch. Now, if in the future, all these properties get developed, well, then I will have to address it again then. But in the meantime, it seemed, as a property owner, it seems pretty ridiculous. And yes, I was aware that access to those properties up there was restricted, that it's snowmobile use in the wintertime. That's why I bought the property. But there was never any indication that the Forest Service was going to rescind the previous agreement that they had with another landowner for being able to park up in a snowmobile parking area. And that's on TV and in your minutes from that meeting several years back. So, I mean, hate to put you on the spot, but you said that on TV.
I just have a point of clarification with Randy.
Dan, your name? Come up so we can hear you.
My name's Nick Zimmer. I've got some properties up the road, 2.5 miles. And Cameron, you said earlier that if someone wants to park their trailer and unload their snowmobiles to convert to over snow, it's no problem, go there for a week, hang out, right? Correct. But then at the same time, you said the 72-hour thing, so I just wanted to clarify. 72 hours are for recreational purposes. Yeah, so I mean, you would be going up to your cabin, yeah, snowmobiling around, whatever, hanging out for the week, and then when you come back, you leave with everything.
That's different than storage.
Okay.
So you're using it
Yeah.
as a parking area for recreation that week while you're.
Because that's why I built that off-grid cabin up there is to recreate up there only, essentially. And I don't want to come down every day and move my truck 10 feet if I don't have to. It sounds like I don't have to.
Every 72.
Every 72, I gotta move it.
Yeah, that's what the law says.
Okay. Okay.
Unless you're there for recreational purposes, which we're putting Officer Littlejohn, that's a tough.
Well, that's the thing is if you're recreational, like I'm up there recreating like 99% of the time I'm there. I might sleep at night, but I'm riding snowmobiles. You know,
But when you like to go to your home, you don't leave a trailer behind.
No.
They come grab it next week.
I don't do that.
Right, that's the difference. What we're trying to do is be reasonable, but we've got to control the storage aspect of it.
Okay.
Pretty much not leave all that crap sitting there. Take it, you know, get it out.
Yeah, I don't think the county would want us, I mean, I was up here last weekend riding a couple days and there were 0 vehicles in that parking lot, but there were like 8 vehicles along the county road because everyone's very gonna get a ticket. But like when I come with my family, I can't just bring one pickup, right? I gotta bring a replaced trailer, park on the side of the road. And if it was snowing, we've been lucky this year, but if it was snowing, you know, foot, like that road would have been, no, yeah. You know, and so, and with that parking lot having 0 vehicles in it, it's just bizarre to me, you know, so. Anyways, just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
So I'm back to my recommendation, the county commission, have them exhaust their remedies with the Forest Service before asking for that. I think that's the appropriate avenue. And it's not trying to blow you off, but I think that needs to happen, or something in writing from them.
So you let one person, one family park there without giving them notification they have to move? There's an
Originally,
agreement?
when Brandon first moved up there, him and I just had a handshake deal, it was not official, there was no permit or anything. That he could park there, and it was mainly, I don't know if that was you back then, but were you going to school too? There was a pretty good reason that there wasn't like equipment that was gonna be parked on a flatbed trailer for the winter. It was a vehicle, there was either school or work associated with it to where nothing was abandoned or nothing was sitting there for more than 72 hours at a time.
Well, that would even fit in within the parking along the county road and not obstructing the roadway with one vehicle. So that's reasonable, I think, but gotta figure out who's else the other.
I do think that that's reasonable. The 72 hours is not so much for people that live up the hill. We just recently had a windstorm that knocked down all kinds of trees. I wasn't here at the time, but I know Brandon and his family, they couldn't come down from the top of the mountain within 72 hours. Those trees weren't cleared completely for weeks. And until the Anaconda
call and check in and tell.
well, until the Anaconda Snowmobile Club had an opportunity to get out there and clear the trail. You know, and what we're looking for is we don't want to interfere with what's been agreed upon with the Anaconda Snowmobile Club. We are snowmobilers. I joined the Snowmobile Club. I've been snowmobiling since 1964. I'm a diehard snowmobiler. I love it out here because of that. But to be restricted from access to your property because an agreement was made to close the road for snowmobiling, but no provisions were made for landowners. Now, granted, the Forest Service doesn't have an obligation, according to you, to provide that parking. But like I said, I look at statutes, Code of Federal Regulations, this ANILCA Act, including the U.S. Forest Service manual has things in there about preventing people access to their property. There's another gentleman in the audience here that I'll speak for him a little bit. He bought his property. His access was from the lower parking lot of the Discovery ski area. Well, the Forest Service cut off that road, shut it off completely, closed access to his property, won't give him any other access. I'll be honest, I told him, I think he's got a legal standing on that. You know, there's just a variety of codes, federal regulations, policies, Supreme Court upheld laws that preventing access. So I don't think we're asking for anything unreasonable. If you wanna revisit it, once more cabins get built up there, but you at least have to look at it, a special use permit on a case-by-case basis. How many people? I mean, last winter when I came out here, there was generally about 3 people that had vehicles in that parking lot. Myself, Brandon, and Tom. So 3 vehicles in a gravel pit that holds 200, 300 vehicles. Half that if they're towing trailers. So, you know, I'm willing to.
With them, I mean, you.
Well, I know, I'm willing to work. I was actually hoping you guys would be able to apply a little bit more pressure, which I don't know if you respond to pressure, but.
Yeah, I mean,
We can't, it's not our
you can't
jurisdiction.
pressure them into doing, that's not right to say. I mean, you're sitting here telling us to threaten him to,
No, not threatened, no,
well, pressure and pretty much goes to being a threat.
okay, no.
But yeah, I mean, I think that you guys just need to. You guys need to hash it out with Forest Service first. And then, I guess if it doesn't work out, you gotta go to look at different options.
I would like to ask one question that goes all the way back to the original agreement some 8 years ago. With the original agreement stating that with the severe restrictions during the winter, parking would be provided for landowners. My question is, why was there not another option offered to the table before just complete restriction and just,
Are you questioning the use of the road? Parking or
not just anything in general,
Cause the original let's put this up first, the original resolution for the road converting to an over snow trail during the winter. That goes back to maybe even the
Early
late
six-
late
60s,
seventies or
60s.
maybe, yeah, okay, maybe even earlier. So that's been long standing that in December, the road gets converted to an over snow trail. And that was, in the old days, I would say it was in more cooperation, there was an agreement with the Forest Service and the county to do that. Now there's just a resolution, I believe, that has those
County
dates on it.
with all due respect, that was not the question.
No, you did say that, it was part of the question. Now, as far as the original agreement, again, this was just a handshake deal.
But my
The-
primary question is, why was there not an ulterior option?
And I'll put that back to the landowner, why didn't you guys come to us with an alternative of how many vehicles and how to store that equipment during the winter time? It's
think-
not, you keep throwing it on the Forest Service, but there's come some personal responsibility with this as well.
I
And
feel like if there was an actual sit-down meeting, a lot of things would have done a lot more differently.
I've sat down with your dad a dozen times in the last 8 years. And we've always had good conversations. We've never landed anywhere and it was never an issue. That's why I don't wanna kick the can down the road. Well, let's just accommodate these 3 right now. And then when it becomes a problem, well, because this little handshake agreement, hindsight, as a rookie ranger, I shouldn't have done it. Because this is what it's caused now with 3 others. So this is why the time to fix it is now, not to wait until there's 10 or 15 homeowners that are looking for a special use authorization too from the Forest Service.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at the past, I'd look at try to get a good.
Not gonna get
agreement,
nowhere looking back.
yeah. To try to agree upon it versus litigation, that would be my hope, I mean, if you guys agree upon it.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, this was, my view as a stopgap, solution was, you know, the parking alongside the road. Which is, again, not ideal. But if we have to kind of go to that, would you have any objections to, using the right of way? Because,
Not by jurisdiction.
okay,
That's county road down there, and that is crystal clear, there's a map right there that shows where the county road ends, and that's very accurate.
Yeah, but that's back to the park along the county road became obstructed, so you have to get things worked out.
okay, so throwing this out there, it's a 60-foot wide right of way, correct?
Depends.
Yeah.
Some of them is, some not.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
like-
this is,
Yeah.
this is down near the avalanche beacon, and
I'd have to look.
They all-
I'm going by looking at Onyx, and it shows.
Likely it is, exactly.
So the question I've got, is could we do a carve out next summer or something like that to provide parking for the next season? Say 40 feet on one side of the road to provide parking. And I'm willing to volunteer my equipment. I've got backhoes, bobcats, excavators. I'd be willing to volunteer that equipment to do that work.
You're talking about 40 feet from the edge of the road?
So as you're going up from the right side of the road, 60 feet to the left. So you got 20 feet of road, then you would have 40 feet of carve out.
So then
It goes through center line.
it goes to the center of the road, 30 feet on this side and 30 feet on this side, and they've got a 20-foot road, so you have 10 feet. on
Yeah,
each.
so that's not gonna accomplish much, especially with people that have trailers. I was just throwing it out there, you know, could it all be
Yeah,
on
just
one
so,
side?
because could you go from the center of the road,
Okay,
the 60 feet?
you adjust the alignment of the road to one edge and, I mean, that seems like. There's no.
Say that again.
Ed Rosen, I'm from Goldsburg, I've never seen where. In a right of way, it says the road absolutely has to be centered in the middle of that right of way. The right of way is for use of the road from right of way to right of way. And if, you know, if you looked at an area up there, is there not a chance that you could not adjust the alignment of the road to one side of the right of way and accommodate for the parking? And on that same note, I've been to many, many places recreating over the years, not only in Montana, but other states, Idaho, very specific, where you establish a parking area like that with, you put barriers along that parking area, the traffic stays the outside, you have proper signage, notifying the public that, or the traveling public that there are vehicles entering and leaving, signage that there is pedestrian traffic. I've just seen that scenario in a lot of places and it seems to work very well.
One of the things though, I don't believe that's a surveyed road, so your best evidence of where the actual right of way is the roadway and, so I'd take potentially a petition to amend the road. I think to get the way you're talking about, I mean, it's doable, but something to, yeah.
But, I mean, I still think the best option right now is to try to work something out with Forest Service and if not, back to the commission, I guess.
are you open to any of these suggestions?
Well,
I'm open
not-
for
not
some discussion, yeah, obviously not right here.
Not here, we gotta move on, but
All right,
My name's Terry Montgomery. I'm a landowner up there, top of Red Line. Doesn't see her. Our family's probably the oldest family up there. We had some meetings here a while back when we were arguing about road usage and grading and everything else.
Could you speak up a little?
I'm sorry,
I can't.
we had a meeting here a while back and they were talking about the grading on the road and everything else. And at the end of the whole thing, I made a statement. I'm gonna reiterate the statement now. But I have a quick question for Cameron at the end of it. I've been up there, working around this road. And I'm not puffing my chest out, I'm just making a statement. I'm a dinosaur. But I've been up there longer than anybody else in this room, and so is my family. It isn't a question, I just bought property up there and I gotta live with it. And I'm not picking on anybody who said that, I'm saying that cultures change, people. I was spoiled, I had that whole mountain to myself, along with Danny. I'd love to have it back to myself, but cultures change. And I appreciate what Cameron says about worrying about 40 people parking. But we need to get along with each other. Now, our land up there, I'll call it the Flynn land at that time, we never posted any of it. We could have. But we left it open because we were kind of Montana thinking people, and I don't have a halo around my head. We're Montana kind of people, that if you and your wife and your kids wanted to go up there and walk across my property,
that was fine with me, cause God put it out there and you can show your kids what a squirrel is. That's talking about the spirit of the situation, not the law of the situation. We're talking here about going legal, you can go legal and fight it all day long, but it's not gonna change what happens up there at 3 o'clock in the morning when the snowmobile goes off and Brandon goes and rescues them. That's happened 7 or 8 different times. We get along up there. Now everybody's backing themselves into the spirit of what's going on and quoting laws. It doesn't work up there in the middle of winter when people are in danger. So my recommendation is that we go with the fact that we recognize that culture's changed. There's gonna be people up there, but we've gotta go with the spirit of the thing and try and get along. Now, I respect Cameron's position. He's worried about what could take place in the gravel pit. But I have a question for you. We've got multiple people up there. And I want to put a cabin up there and I'll get a snowmobile and I wanna run up there. I understand your 72-hour thing. But you guys kind of relaxed it for a while and you admitted that maybe that was a mistake because people were going up and coming back. But for the landowners that are up there now, if we wanna go up there and we park a rig in the gravel pit, do you? First of all, I don't know how you're gonna identify who is recreation and who isn't, without marking tires, but what I'm saying is, if we gotta come down to get groceries, we wanna go spend a week up there, that's over 72 hours. But we're recreating, we're not living. And the spirit, 72 hours. And I'm not trying to open up Pandora's box. One, can the landowners that are up there right now, am I understanding you're saying it's okay for us to park in there with a truck and a trailer, jump in our snowmobile, go up, spend a couple of days?
Yeah, to me, that is recreational use.
Okay, now,
And you're using the parking lot appropriately.
if I'm going up there and I wanna spend 5 days up there, do you want me to come down, if applicable, and move my rig 5 feet? So I can say that I moved it within 72 hours,
I would say that's still recreational use.
so I could stay up there for 4 days and your guy's not gonna ticket my car?
Yes.
Okay,
No.
that's working together with
But
the
it's-
spirit of the thing
But if
right
it's a
now.
school bus, you're not gonna allow it, right? I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
she-
No, and I understand, I us about trailers, school buses, and the stuff being left there for 3 or 4 months. That's not my point. But there was a lot of rumors on the street that bingo, landowners weren't gonna be allowed in there at all. I think we finally equated that. That's what I'm trying to ask Cameron. It's just that, right now, we've only got 3 or 4 that are gonna be going up there, worrying about groceries or staying. Brandon's living up there, Tom's up there. I don't plan on living up there full time, but I plan on being up there a lot. But you're gonna get more, and I understand where you're going. But for right now, you don't wanna worry about the 46, winter's coming. Am I correct that the 5 landowners that are up there can park a rig in the prudently in the gravel pit, go up there, spend 5 days, they're not gonna move it 72 hours and come back down and then leave?
Yes, that would be appropriately using the parking area.
Thank you very much. That, I guess. Yeah, I hope you guys can work it out, something out. Something.
I bet you're an arm wrestler.
Come back to the commission, yeah, do that, doc.
All right, so
Well, thank you for everyone coming and
appreciate you listening to us whine. I did have some letters from other landowners, so I'll give them to you because they asked me to. You can do with them as you wish. But yeah, so if you've got time next week, like to do,
We'll get you on the calendar.
all right, well, thank you. everybody.
appreciate all your time very much.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Thanks, Cameron.
So there were made 3 copies. Get one to you. So that's from this one was from Brandon.
Okay.
Paul, I got a question for you. Yeah, my son needs on that one, his undergoes no interaction with the law.
Okay, yeah, that's my cousin.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
and they knew he grew up here in Burr.
Oh, my uncle, is old Tony?
Well, Tony was in the seventies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's my son-in-law's son.
Okay.
Yeah. Scott Galley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know Scott.
Yeah, he's
Right.
good son-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
Don't tell him I said so.
Right. Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while. Usually I go golfing like once a year or see him somewhere.
Yeah, still in Missoula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad sees Scott all the time. He lives in Dallas.
Sure. But yeah, I left California and met you.
Yeah. Yeah, see Scott, tell him I said hi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks for coming in.
Miranda?
Miranda, yeah.
Patrick.
Nice to meet you.
All right. All right,
What you need to do.
we'll go to recess until 12:30.
You really do. Can't get worse.
All right, we're back from our short recess there. We're gonna go over the Granite County GIS software with mapping.
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 Hi, everybody. Let me, there we are. How you doing?
Very good, how about you?
How are you?
So I'm very good. Can I share my screen, Miranda?
Is
Do
it
I
not
have
letting?
to get permission to do that? How do I? Hang on.
We might
Yeah,
have
hang
that.
on. I got it. Yep, I think I got it.
Yep.
Okay, screen should have changed. I'm gonna, just so that you guys can get a sense of what it's gonna look like, this public or primary viewer public is the version, and so a link like this would be what we would put on the county website somewhere, some way, shape, or form, and so we'll have to work on the details for that. And just to give you, go ahead.
Oh, they're just, what
It's
is,
hard to see.
I can't see his screen, what do you got there?
That's what the link would look
Is
like.
that screen?
It's just this link.
Oh,
It
the
says
link.
primary viewer public. Yeah, it's just a sentence. Here,
Never mind.
maybe this will be a better example. I'll show you what Mineral County did. If we go to the Mineral County, Montana, just their plain website, click on the main link to get into their website. And it depends on where you want to put it. I work in Mineral County with the Environmental Health and Planning Office primarily. So if I go down to Environmental Health and Planning on their website, click that, brings me to their page. And if I scroll all the way to the bottom, there's a links. And this Mineral County Public Mapping application, that link is on that department's. And so then I can just click that link. And when I click the link, it brings me in, and it's, says the disclaimers, etc. I have to select them and hit agree, and then I'm into the map. So yours could look very similar to this, depending on how you decide to set things up. But if I go back to that linkage on the email that I got from Joe, and I click your link, I'm just going to tap that link. It pulls me into a very similar page. This is the Granite County disclaimers. If you wanted to see those, you scroll and they're there. And these are ones that Blaine has approved. And Linda, if I click read and agree with the above disclaimers and then click agree, now I'm into the county map. And so if you want to look at something, you can use the scroll wheel to scroll in. Just push the scroll wheel forward on the mouse, pull back with the scroll wheel to move out. You can also do it with the plus or minus up here in the upper left-hand corner, zoom in, zoom out. All of the different layers are available over on the left-hand side.
And so, you've got structures and access, this little caret that's in front of it. If I click that, it does a drop down and it shows structure points outside of Granite County. And these would be ones like the Gold Creek area of Powell County. It would be the Wild Horse Parks area of Powell County. It would be the Frog Pond area of Ravalli County. It would be Anaconda Deer Lodge County on the east side of Georgetown Lake, etc. You got the roads layers. We pulled out ownership. So in the primary viewer, the one that the sheriff's office has access to, and Jackie is a I'm sorry, her last name. I always confuse her with Bolster and Butler. I think Jackie Bolster, your DES public health nurse. She has access to it. Paul Alt's got access to it, for their MDTs for in the vehicles. But we pulled out ownership out of it, and like Sarah Graham has it, and actually you guys all have access to it too. So there's a primary one that's you got a username and a password associated with it, so you have access to everything, and then there's this public version. And so when we met the last time, you said we don't want to have any county road ownership listed in there, and so we don't. So it's simply surface type. So you've got, Montana State Highway and the kind of the goldish, orangish color, and then the dashed black and white lines for gravel. This dark gray on Marshall Creek Road for paved. Sunshine Road's similar. And then obviously you've got access to all of the structure photos. So if I click on a particular structure, pulls a pop-up down at the bottom. You can see the address, the owner. You can click on the photo link. It pulls up the photo that way. If I click on the parcel itself, it'll flash in the background.
So Matt, can I ask a question?
Go ahead. Yep.
Are you saying that the property, the ownership is only, it's not, the public can't access ownership? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was talking about roads ownership. The last time we met, I had color coded layers for county road.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Parcel stuff is absolutely available.
I thought you said that the ownership would be in the clerk and recorder's office or anyone that had a password. But the public can get in there and see ownership of property then.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And I apologize, the Zoom feed is burning up my bandwidth on my internet. You can see that it says loading when I clicked on additional property details. It's loading in the background, but my there it goes. So I clicked on that particular piece of property and it pulled up the information. So the first thing that it shows is the parcel information. If I click the little caret over on the side, it's pulling up, the structure point information. And if I keep going down in the list, I've got law, fire, and EMS. Hey, Blaine. I've got voting precinct. I've got commissioner district. If I keep expanding these, it keeps showing me more information, solid waste, hospital district, and so forth. So you've got that information. So there should be a secondary pop-up that should show up on this right-hand side where this big white space is. And I think it's a function of my internet connection that it's not pulling that up. Normally what it shows is at the very top, you've got some of the parcel data, the picture of the house, and then down below you've got the structure point stuff. So the pop-up on the right-hand side is a marriage between parcel information or cadastral information and structure point information. And it's not pulling up right now, but it does work. I tested it last night. I think it's just a matter of my internet connection, but yeah, so all the information's in there, and I guess what I'm wanting to talk to you guys today about is getting this published so that we can put it out there for the public to look at. There's going to be some district stuff that's shut off by default. So if you wanted to see a particular layer, like Georgetown Lake Conservation and Zoning Districts, you have to turn that layer on the left-hand side. But then you can click on the options, or I'm sorry, remember where move to top, move to bottom. You can move it up or down. I want to say that I thought that you could zoom to it as well.
Did you play with this? Oh, never mind, now it's just me.
Yeah, and it's not, I'll have to ask Joe about that. He wasn't available to be on the call today, but if I pan down to Georgetown Lake, you can see the zoning turned on in the backdrop. And they're color coded by area. So there's Denton's Point, here's Edwards Tracks, here's the Dude Ranch. And we made them transparent so that you can see through them to the aerial imagery. But again, if you wanted to shut them off, you could turn them off, and then you could turn on commissioner districts, different color coding. If I zoom out so that you can see the different districts, then labels start showing up. So here's Commissioner District 1, Commissioner District 3, Commissioner District 2. So really all of that information's in there, and it's just a matter of toggling it on and off. School districts, if you are probably on by like a default zoom scale, so they only show up at a particular scale, and you expand it, and then you can turn on the individual ones. So if we're at Drummond, there's the Drummond School District, basically the north end of the county. What else can I show you? So the zoom to layer, I'm not sure how to get at that. I'll have to ask Joe about that. But the flood information, he added it, but I don't know how good it is, because I don't think that we have flood data for your entire county. Like there it actually popped up. So you do have some in certain areas, but I don't think that you have it for every stream. And you can see it's taken a while to load just because my internet speed is being chewed up by this Zoom call. So but Linda, you do have flood data buried in this as well. So you can, take a look at properties and see, okay, is that property in the flood zone or not?
Does Matt have all the data we have, or?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Cause Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but you pretty much just pulled a bunch of this from other sources, right? And kind of compiled.
A lot of it we already had, like the commissioner districts. I worked with Sarah in the clerk and recorder's office to get those plugged in there, and we created the districts a long time ago. Same for the school districts. Those were all done under Mike Cahoe's watch. Voting precincts, emergency service zones, fire EMS. So yeah, we've had all of this data for a really long time. Now the state of Montana, through their Montana State Library and through their administrative boundaries department, or whatever you want to call it, a lady by the name of Megan Burns administers it. And so if there are any changes to city limits type stuff, if for whatever reason Phillipsburg decided to annex a piece of property, I would funnel those changes to her at the Montana State Library, and she would plug it in on the state side of things. For some counties, we've pulled in their administrative boundaries layers, and that's what we're using. But for you guys, because we had all of this data already, almost everything that's in here is stuff that we've created for you and that we're administering. But I do funnel changes to them at the state level so that they basically are quote unquote on the same page as you guys are, as we are.
But like when it comes to the floodplain, you just hold the FEMA stuff and.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I would have to look at the source information on FEMA, and that would be a Joe Rhodes question from Civic Lens to say, hey, where did you acquire that? But my guess is that he went directly to FEMA and acquired it from them. So no, we're not creating or maintaining flood data.
Yeah.
Does it show like the Valley Fire District, or doesn't show that as those areas?
Yep. So if I go down here, so if under other districts, we've got solid waste, we've got the hospital, the library. Here under these, we have law, fire, and EMS. So if I shut off, I mean, law enforcement's a no-brainer. It's the whole county for Sheriff Rico. But if I turn on the fire districts, they're color-coded by.
Okay. And you have the Lower Rock Creeks out of the hospital district? You have that?
Yep. So if I shut off that and go to hospital district and then pan over to Lower Rock Creek and zoom in, you can see that the whole area is not color coded in blue because they excluded everything. Private property wise.
Did you hear me?
Looks good.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty easy to use, and Joe added a few more functionality things like Valley County wanted to see latitude and longitude, so we put that down at the bottom. So if you're zoomed into an area, wherever you put your cursor, you can see those numbers changing at the bottom. Your cursor is where the latitude and longitudes are, and you can actually search for those as well. So if you wanted to, search for a latitude, longitude, you can put it in the search bar up above. It's latitude, comma, longitude, and you have to use a negative sign, but you can do a search. So if somebody came in and said, well, I've got something going on at this latitude, longitude, or gave you a coordinate, you could find it. But Blaine, I'll pick on you. I'm not sure what it'll return, but no results for Blaine Bradshaw. Blaine, give me your street address.
9 Bradshaw Lane.
I want to see his house.
So it zooms to it automatically. It shows that it's highlighted. You can click on the. Wow, it's been a long time since I've been there.
Yeah, that
doesn't look like that anymore.
2006.
No, we remodeled in 2014. It's added on, and yeah.
Okay.
So you need to take a picture, kid.
I'll flag it for a photo retake next summer.
But you on the list.
Yeah, you're welcome. Come down the lane. Get any angle you want.
Yep. Yep. And if you click on okay, nice. So it just took a while for my internet to come back up. But like if I click on the parcel, now you see the pop-up over on the right-hand side. So on that particular piece of property, we've actually got 4 different addresses. And you can see the 4 addresses show up at the very top.
Yeah.
Down at the bottom, you see this 1 of 4 and the little carrots. Now I can cycle through and I can show, the Alan Bradshaw's house, and there's, the shop, because I think we at one time, I don't know if it's still there, but at one time that had a phone in it. And if I go through one more, there's Sheldon and Corinne's place. And so, yeah, either one, you got a little pop-up that pops up with, bare bones, and then you've got a bigger one that shows you a little bit more.
Yeah, that's nice.
So Matt, I have a question.
Yes.
Being the county commissioner, would I get my own login and password so I wouldn't have to go into the public domain so I could get more information?
Yeah.
Yes.
He sent it to her.
Okay.
Miranda would have it.
Okay, I just want one.
I got you. I have it.
Make sure Scott has one. I'm sure he'll be going and looking at it.
I can see that. Cause you guys don't want to play.
Yep. And I can show you too, if I go into my email, and I pull this over and I pop up my address book, and I'm going to pull that over so you can see as well. And I just do a search on Granite. I've got email lists for Granite deputies, Granite dispatch. I've got Granite County primary GIS viewer, and then the one that we typically send out to like anybody with a new address notification. So we call it the addressing group. And so we've got these group emails. If I double click on the primary viewer and I pull that across and show it, it might be a little hard for you guys to see just size wise. And I'm not sure if I can like make this bigger or not, but, and I can share this with Miranda and she can take a look at it to see if we need to add anybody else to it. But, like the ladies that are over in the treasurer's office are all in here. Clerk and recorder's office is in here. Linda's in here. Blaine's in here. All of you commissioners are in here. We've got Department of Revenue folks like Julie Goebel and Myrna Green in here. Paul Alt is in here. The sanitation site guys are in here, so that way if somebody rolls up to the roll-off site and wants to dump refuse and they don't have their card, they actually would have access to this to verify, yeah, you live in the county, or yeah, you are who you say you are at your address or whatever. Dispatch is deputies have it. Addresses groups. Rachel Parrott, the town clerk, has got it. Gail Leeper up in Drummond and her assistant have it.
There's a whole bunch of new. You want
Chad
them?
Lannis, Sotola Arnis. That question you broke up a little bit.
Oh, we have a whole bunch of new reserve deputies. Do you want them on there, or just the main deputies? Okay.
Just the main. I just give it.
For you, Chairman.
Sometimes I think
Yeah, you call for motions.
You can take it back.
Just gavel them down.
I need to hit me in the head about it. Stay home.
Shit.
They said it was to the courthouse, and one day they said they were setting it up and never.
I don't know what's going on.
They totally redo the fiber
Are we
along.
back? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make a
No, we lost.
it's winking in and out on my side. Sorry, guys.
You want to?
It's our side too.
Yeah.
You want to have them call in?
Now who's acting like the chairman?
Okay, it might be stable now. I just want to make a distinction between the primary viewer. The primary viewer is intended to be used in the office, let's say, but the deputies and anybody that has an MDT that is using a device mobile has a little bit different application. It's the Explorer app with a mobile map package, an MMPK file. And so the deputies, when they're in the field, have offline use to this data set and can use it anywhere, regardless of whether they have internet connection. But when they're in the office, if they wanted to or needed to, they could pull up the primary viewer, log in with a username and password, and be able to see it in the office a little differently.
And they've been trained up on that, or will be?
We've showed them how to use the MMPK, and according to Rico, they use it all the time in the field daily. This application, it's pretty much plug and play. I mean, you open it up and you can go and so yes, I've sent the instructions on how to get access to it with the credentials, but whether or not they're using it, I don't know.
Good, thanks.
So with your guys' permission, I'll work with Miranda and we'll get this thing pushed up online.
Sounds good to me.
I'll entertain a motion.
Is this thing pushed up online?
I'll make a motion that he has with work with Miranda.
Authority to put it online?
Yeah,
Alright.
I second that.
Public comment, that can't see, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried passes.
That was 1.5 seconds.
Awesome.
Be quick.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Sounds good.
Thanks,
We'll
Matt.
get it up.
Always a pleasure.
You're welcome. You guys have a good day.
You too. Yep, have a good one.
I'm your champion, remember?
Same.